Hello, 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 good morning, and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick, and it is time to go off the cuff with the one and only Sharn. We have another friend from the other side of the damn world joining us all the way from Australia today, and man, it's kind of fucked up because that whole daylight savings bullshit that we have to go
Yeah,
through every year. Uh, Whereas our other Australian friends were only like 12 hours away from us, she is now 15 hours away from us because we get double hit by that fucking bullshit.
yeah.
So
What
yeah,
time is it there
that's
for
fun. So
you?
thank you so much for joining us at this ridiculous time in the morning.
Yeah, because what time is it there for you?
It is 12:15 p.m. currently.
Oh, 3:46 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite ridiculous, but definitely
Yeah.
appreciate you. For those in the audience, you may know Sharn as our favorite orc, Brother Bonk, in the Two Door
Brother Monk.
Saga. You may also be familiar with our fellow bearded wonder, Steven. This is his better half, and she's just in general awesome, and we're so glad to have you. So, first question: how do you take your coffee?
I like my coffee super sweet and super creamy and as like basic white bitches can be. I
Nice.
like my
Are
tea.
you into the pumpkin spice and all the flavored shit?
Pumpkin spice doesn't really make it here in Australia all that much. We get like the chai latte stuff, so it's cinnamony, but not the full pumpkin spice.
Okay. Yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. So when I send my care package, because I don't know if you actually heard about this. I think I did talk about it with Steven a little bit, but I of course I make hot sauces and everything too. And one of the recipes I've been playing around with lately, I came up with the idea last year. I put it into execution this year. Was a pumpkin spice.
Ooh,
So it's got all of the typical pumpkin pie spice notes, the nutmeg, the
yeah,
allspice, uh, of course, buku cinnamon. But
yeah.
it's also got, jalapenos, habaneros, Anaheim
Is
ghost
this is
peppers,
a liquid or a
poblanoes,
powder?
serranos. Like, I think I put 18 kinds of peppers in that one. It came out that
I'm
many.
guessing I'm guessing that this is a liquid sauce as opposed to a powder rub.
It's not a rub, it's a sauce, yeah, but it's more of the kind of thick and viscous style, a little thicker than ketchup. Like it's not one of the runny, just kind of vinegar sauces. Of course, it's all cooked in vinegar and cooked down. Um, but like I also put a whole pumpkin in there and a can of pumpkin puree and like there's a lot of vegetable matter in there as well, and then I just kind of blend it all up together, and it's oh man, it's pretty good. I've sold out. I still have plenty of sauce. I have no bottles left.
Oh, goodness. Uh, well, definitely looking forward to that, especially after what we just had like tonight, last night, whatever. We went to a friend's place, and she made chocolate chili cake for Stephen. So good. And that sounds like an amazing thing to put into a chocolate chili cake or a
Yeah, I could
chocolate
see
cake
that
or
going really well
like
actually.
yeah.
And a spicy cake. I'm kind of amazed that I'd never even thought of that, but that's a good one.
It's amazing because it just tastes like a chocolate cake except that when you swallow you get like this warmth in the back of your throat. It's
Oh,
amazing.
nice. And so obviously you are also a fan of the spice.
Not as much as Steven.
I don't think any
Um
of us are as much as Steven.
no. I can
Like
definitely
I can deal with some hot
tolerate.
shit, but that man, he's a
Yeah.
machine.
Yeah, he's another breed. So yeah, I can tolerate a large portion, but the amount that I would enjoy in a dish would probably be the equivalent of the uh average person who's like who likes a little bit of spice, sort of thing. I'm no weakling, but the average person who's like, yeah, I like a bit of spice in my stuff. That's what I tend to enjoy in my food. I can handle a hell of a lot more.
And that's a fine distinction too, because like yeah, there's the point at which I am no longer enjoying myself, and then there's the point at which I can't handle it, and there's a
Yeah.
vast gulf in between those two.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So
Like
there's been many a meal where like I'm like, I guess yeah, it's tasty. I'm not really enjoying it though because Steven's cooked it and put it to his spice level, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
and I feel like in a lot of my relationships, I'm on the other end of that spectrum. Like I cook for me, and then people are like, oh shit. Like yeah, it's a fine line to balance. And then in my stocking this year, I had something I'd never seen, and I almost like I used it for the first time last night, but like I don't really understand the market for this product. It's a hot sauce that's called Frostbite, and it has no flavor and no color. It is literally just add heat. And like I've always
Oh,
been
it's just straight capsaicin.
yeah, it's literally the three ingredients: water, vinegar, capsicum.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah, and like I've always been the type of guy like whenever I'm selling my hot sauce and shit, I'm always telling people like I'm not into hot just for the sake of hot. I like the flavor, so it's got to taste good and be hot, not just be hot. Because I've had those like the challenge wings and shit like
That
that where
oh, something like that, that would be used in those weird dishes where it's technically a sweet dish, but you want to add a little bit of burn, like a key lime pie. Can you imagine a slightly spicy key lime pie?
oh yes I could. In fact, we could do that with fresh key limes because it's only like a 12-hour drive.
The sort of
That's
thing.
good. What I used it
That,
last night in was my girl made. She's been feeling a little under the weather. She made some chicken soup, like starting with chicken feet to make the stock. And so I
yeah,
was like, this is great. It tastes amazing. I don't want to fuck up the flavor, but at the same time, I need to clear my sinuses.
yeah, yeah.
So I put a bunch in there, and it worked. I can breathe a
So
lot clearer
it's
now than I could this time yesterday.
yeah, because the chocolate spicy chocolate cake they tend to use just red chili powder, which, as you know, like, yes, spicy. Does it have much in the way of flavor though?
No.
Mm,
Not
no, not
particularly.
really.
It's not like,
So that
paprika or cayenne.
no,
There's definitely specific flavors associated with them. Chili powder
yeah,
is not so much.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that'd be good for something like that. So I think you'd probably keep that with the when you want to add a little bit of heat to a dessert,
Yeah, that
like a
definitely sounds like a good idea. Now I kind of want to do an apple pie spice. Spicy apple
that'd be
pie.
really nice. Or like a prank one where you make like a peanut brittle super spicy and make people think that they're having anaphylaxis.
Oh, you're an evil. I love it. That reminds me of when I was in the Marine Corps and my gas chamber cigarettes. I don't know if that's a story that you'd heard, but it's a pretty
No.
fun one. I was always the guy that every payday I'd go out and buy 4 cartons because I knew I'm not getting paid for another 2 weeks, and I don't want to be the one that's bumming smokes
Yeah.
towards the end of the pay period. So instead, I was the one that everyone was coming to bum smokes at the end
Yeah.
of the pay period. And I got kind of sick of that, and I was in the gas chamber a lot because I was a driver, so I was doing driving for like safety driver, as in case anybody did have medical needs and whatnot. Um, so I ended up going to the gas chamber pretty regularly, like a couple of times a week. And most of the time, you just, as a driver, you just sit in the truck and fucking read, sleep, whatever. But I would get kind of bored with that, so I'd always start checking out my gas masks, and I'd just go through the chamber with all of them, which of course you're not supposed to do because you got to be in condition to drive. But I got to the point where I started going through without my mask, And then I took a brand new fresh pack of cigarettes in there, and I opened it in the gas chamber after they lit the capsules. And CS isn't actually a gas; it's a crystal. So it kind of aerosolizes when they burn it. They put it on the burner, and aerosolizes it, and it's the smoke in the air. But then over time, the crystals all settle. So I took that pack of cigarettes and I dumped them out on the ground, rolled them around in the just piles of the shit on the ground. I took a couple of them and I picked them up and I put them in the burner to really get concentrated. And of course, I'm not that big of an asshole, so the first thing I did when I went out of the gas chamber was light one of them up. And it was unpleasant, but
Yeah.
it wasn't anything that came from it. And so then I started handing those out when people started asking me for smokes, and it didn't take long before nobody asked me for smokes anymore.
It's like knew a guy who similar sort of issue, or like he just had enough people bumming him for smokes, but it wasn't that he didn't have them as much as he couldn't really afford to give many of them out because he was getting rollies, like the ones where you roll your own cigarettes.
Oh,
But
okay.
he was at least getting the good stuff, like Winfield, which is a fairly decent brand here in Australia. But because people were bumming him for even rollies where he was working, he exchanged them into an empty packet of White Ox, which is like just shittest of shit tier fucking coffin nail rollies. Like, do you want to smoke straight tar? Sure, here, White Ox. Sort of thing.
Nice.
So he got like Winfield and then just emptied his Winfield into empty White Ox packet. There you go. And so everyone would see him with the White Ox and go, nah, I'll bum it off another guy.
Yeah, at the point when someone's rolling their own, like, that's not even just bumming a smoke anymore. Because bumming a smoke is like, here you go, take one out of the pack. That's easy. If I have to roll you a fucking cigarette, that's significantly more expenditure of effort on my end. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, these were like good old Australian bargains. Where, like, if they got a Taylor, that was like, whew, fucking Taylor cigarettes. There was that level of people.
okay, gotcha. And I mean, I would imagine that like if you were to start venturing away from the cities, then you know, not even necessarily getting into the outback, but like it seems like a fairly desolate place where it could be hard to come across proper cigarettes for a significant amount of period of time.
In some places, yeah, like you can easily reach like at least not the outback, but at least the sticks, within like a 40-minute drive of any city. Outside of maybe Sydney, because Sydney's huge.
Yeah,
Brisbane is technically huge, but you can still reach the sticks within like 40 minutes, half an hour, just as long as you drive in the correct direction.
in the correct
Because there's,
direction. Gotcha.
yeah, because you drive north, it just city all up the coast. Drive south, or city all down the coast. Drive directly west, all city going up the river, sort of thing. It's the moment that you go like northwest or southwest, it's like, oh, there's the sticks.
Yeah, you just have to get a little bit away from the water. Go figure.
Yeah. Get away from the river, get away from the coast, and like, yeah. But outside of Sydney, and maybe, I don't really know Melbourne all that well. Like, yeah, maybe give them an extra 15 minutes, make it a 45-minute drive for them. And yeah, you're in sticks.
Yeah. And then I would imagine it's not long after that, if you were to press on, that's when you get to proper outback.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it would only need like an hour or 2 hours at most to reach proper outback from any city.
And like, as someone who has never been there and only has the vaguest of kind of concepts and ideas, what does proper outback mean to you?
It means that your next door neighbor, you need to drive to go see them.
Okay.
Like you could potentially walk, but it's like they're not your next door neighbor. They're in the next property. If that they're it's not just like you neighbor. It's like them and their property, and then there's you and your property, and it's like you have to like literally go out around and back in to try and find your neighbor because they're not near you.
Yeah. So, like, what kind of acreages would you be talking about on a parcel out there?
Uh, Probably I always get acreage and hectare mixed up. Acre versus hectare. 1 acre versus 2.4. Yeah. Okay. So I'd probably say at least sort of 24 acre, 10 hectare
Okay. Yeah, that's a sizable piece of land. Of
sort of
course.
thing where you could walk to your neighbor. It'd take you 5-10 minutes or more,
Yeah.
but literally just sort of easier just to get in the car and drive the 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course the biggest problem out there with, having that land is going to be what are you going to do for water because there is none.
No, yeah, no, especially South Australia where it's sort of like rain. You're funny.
Right?
It rains here once a year, sort of thing. So yeah, unless you're in like Queensland and New South Wales where rain is fairly consistent. Um, or as long as you're on the east coast, really. Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, all the states that go along the east coast, you're fairly fine. It's when you get to Northern Territory, South Australia, and Western Australia that's sort of like, oh, we're reaching the deep red centre of Australia where it rains once a year, unless, I guess Northern Territory, there's Darwin, which is really, really tropical, where they have the wet season and the swamps and so on with all the gators and saltwater crocodiles and stuff. But you go inland just a little bit and it's like, oh, and now we've reached desert.
Yeah. That's kind of a strange juxtaposition. You're like in a almost like subtropical paradise, and then all of a sudden, just water. What's water?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're actually from Lord Howe's Island, right?
Lord Howe Island, yeah, third of the way between Australia and New Zealand. So if you were to take like a ruler from Brisbane and draw a straight line from Brisbane to the northernmost tip of North Island, New Zealand, and Lord Howe Island's almost smack bang a third of the way along.
And what's the island like? I know that like we have had a little bit of conversations about it with like Steven and whatnot on either my regular streams or on Whisker Whispers, something like that. But
It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. I will always miss the smell, the sounds, the stars, but I do not miss how isolated it is, and I do not miss that everyone knows everyone and everyone knows everyone's business.
yeah,
And that drives me batty.
yeah. 'Cause I remember we looked it up and it was like 722 is the population of the island or something like that. Like
That's during peak summer with people that are brought over, like staff members, because they have to bring extra staff over to man the hotels and the restaurants. During off peak, what we consider the permanent citizens, there's about 400, 450.
yikes. Yeah, that's I had more than that in my graduating class. Yeah, I had more than
Yeah.
peak season in my graduating class. Like that's fucking
And
insane.
I'm related to two-thirds of them.
I mean, yeah, that would be how island life goes.
Yeah.
But like climate wise, it's completely different from Australia proper, right? Like you actually have.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's considered subtropical, so it's too cold for coconuts, but it's warm enough for bananas, to give
Okay.
you an idea.
And you've got
And
more regular rainfall and stuff like
yeah,
that
well,
there as
surrounded
well.
by ocean.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figure when you're on an island that small, what kind of like Do y'all get like tropical storms and shit like that out there? Like, is
It's a little bit too far south to get like full on hurricanes or cyclones. Um, so we get sometimes hit by like the tail end of one that would have hit Brisbane, but it would literally just be like, you know how when the cyclones are turning and there'll be like one tail of it stretching out. If
okay?
that like turns around and we'll get like one tail of it just come and sweep over the island and that's about it.
So every once in a while you get some effects, but not like the serious shit, and probably
No,
not all
no,
that often
nowhere.
either.
Yeah,
And what
not
about
all that
like
often.
Australia proper? Like in Adelaide, do you guys have to worry about that kind of shit? I mean, obviously you got your
We are
spider, snake, scorpions, and fucking all of the animal, the flora and fauna are trying to kill you, but
basically halfway through Australia. There's the Tropic of Capricorn. So everything north of the Tropic of Capricorn is at high risk of cyclones, hurricanes, other weather sort of stuff because it's in that band of warmer equatorial waters.
okay.
Because
I
that
did not think that any of Australia was within. I thought Australia's much farther south than that. I guess I just had that totally mixed up in my mind.
and the Tropic of Capricorn goes that's like almost straight through the middle of it. Anything north of the Tropic of Capricorn, more cyclones and so on along the coasts. And also with the extra warmth, you get all the extra sort of creepy crawlies, bugs, snakes, spiders, reptiles, alligators, jellyfish, all of the creepy crawly north of the Tropic of Capricorn. South of the Tropic of Capricorn, less, still there, but less.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you don't get pretty much any of the weather stuff. Adelaide being in the southern bight, how the bottom of Australia like comes up in like a little bight section. We call it the Australian bight because it looks like someone literally
Took
picked
a
up
bite out
Australia
of
and
the
just
fucking
went,
continent. Yeah.
yeah. So because we're in the Australian bight, basically we get hit with the cold winds coming up from the Arctic, the Antarctic. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense. I kind of had. Uh, we were actually, messing around with some geography stuff and flooding the planet and everything like that last night. And we did, of course, look at Adelaide specifically and
Yeah.
and whatnot. And yeah, like it does seem like you would be pretty sheltered geographically from a
Mm.
lot of the worst storm activity.
Yeah,
Kind of
the
regardless.
worst sort of I'm not sure if you'd consider it weather related, but we get bushfires. That's what we get.
Okay. Yeah, just because it's so bloody dry.
So dry, and we have eucalyptus everywhere. Which I always find it funny. It's like the one thing that they took away from Australia and introduced to other countries that they thought wouldn't kill them.
That is great.
Even our
That
even
is
our plants
fucking
kill
perfect.
you.
Like, this entire continent wants to kill us, but there's got to be some kind of resources here that we can take with us. How about that tree over there? Nope. That's a good
Turns
one.
out
That
it's
is
killing
a
a hell of a lot more people than anyone would have thought.
So if you could pick just anywhere, Australia or otherwise, to kind of settle down or at least hang out for a significant amount of time, where would you like to go?
I would want to try out at least like Northern Europe somewhere like Finland, Norway, that sort of area. I have only limited experience with like sub-zero temperatures or what do you guys have a term for sub-zero for like just freezing?
Well, we have
Just
freezing and then we have sub-zero because I live in backward ass America where those are two different temperatures.
Yeah, because sub-zero just means freezing to us. So you have freezing and then you have sub-zero, which is past freezing.
Yeah, because water freezes at 32 Fahrenheit. So
Yeah.
you've got that little leeway there. And the thing that I find so interesting about the whole Fahrenheit Celsius thing is, do you know they actually meet at -40? If the temperature is
Yeah,
-40, it is -40 Celsius and it's -40 Fahrenheit.
yeah. And also there's one that's above as well. It's like 63 or some weird temperature.
No, because by the time you start getting above zero, they're diverging farther. Because like times 9/5 plus 32.
Okay.
Could
It must be. Yeah, I thought there was one that was just above as well. Never mind. Um, but yeah.
and the thing I find crazy is that like Celsius, well, it's like used for everything. It's really just an adjustment of Kelvin. Like why do we have three? Why do we have three? Like
Yeah. Like, I understand why they changed to Celsius because of the whole freezing point of water, boiling point of water. That is something that's sort of very relatable to the human experience,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
sort of
I
thing.
do think that the 0 to 100 makes a lot more sense than 32 to 212.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. I get it.
But as far as like on a universal scale, yeah, sometimes I wish that we'd all just switch to Kelvin.
Exactly. Just makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like, but even it seems like Kelvin is actually taken from centigrade and not vice versa, right? Because it would
It
seem
goes
like
up
it
and
would be
down at the same increments,
impossible.
yes?
Say again?
Does it? I think it goes up and down at the same increments, yes?
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
100 degrees Celsius boiling point of water would be, I think if I remember correctly, it's 482 degrees. I think that the difference is 382. So absolute zero, 0 Kelvin is -382 Celsius.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, anybody. If you're doing
Yeah.
scientific papers,
Yeah.
DYOR.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's. Oh, speaking of Norway and Finland and whatnot, did you hear that they're adding QR codes to their ships?
To the ships, like naval ships,
Yeah,
or
so that when they return from their missions, they can Scandinavian.
that's a Stephen joke if ever I heard
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's terrible. I love it. I love it. Like I forget what I even read that on, but I remember that I dropped it. Like, I just walked away from that joke. I was like, that's fucking terrible. I love
uh,
it. uh, well, hello to our audience. I'm glad to see that we've actually attracted a few viewers. We have Chris and Chris again, and we have Jim Morgan with us.
Hi, Chris. Hey, Jim.
And yeah, I'm trying to think like, because yeah, Chris was kind of surprised that Key West is only like a 12-hour drive from here. I'm trying to think like, what's 12 hours away from you?
Probably Perth.
So okay,
Let's see.
how I guess like how long would it take? What is the distance from like one corner to the far corner?
No, Perth is further. That's a 28-hour from here to Perth. My apologies. So from one corner, if I was to go like Perth to like Cairns, which is like Perth is like bottom southwest of Western Australia, and then Cairns is like very top northeast. Let's see. Perth to Cairns driving 56 hours.
56 hours. Yeah, that's a hike.
That's non-stop though. Like
Yeah,
that's not taking breaks into consideration.
Yeah, that's not even stopping for gas. But that's
Yeah,
also doing the speed limit.
yeah, yeah. Which there is, I think, one arterial road going through the middle of Australia, north to south, that doesn't have a speed limit.
That's probably a good thing. But yeah, if you're going from corner to corner, that's not really going to help you all that much because you'd still have to go
No.
west to get to that, and then north.
And for safety reasons, it's probably following the coastline highways because the arterial roads, they're few and far between. And any other roads that are in the middle, going through the middle of Australia, are usually dirt and barely considered roads.
Gotcha. Kind of like deep res out there. That is
Yeah.
more or less how I pictured it. That's my experiences in Arizona and Utah with like the native reservations out there have kind of colored my perspective on it a little bit, given me a little bit of a touch point. I understand that there's still going to be worlds of difference, but at least it's something to kind of latch on to.
Oh, actually, and I think I have it on good authority that from here to Alice Springs is 15 hours. So that's close. So Alice Springs is a fairly decently sized town, smack bang in the middle of Australia.
Okay.
Like not too far from Uluru. Ayers Rock, whatever you want to
Okay.
call it.
Yeah, actually, Ayers Rock is something that I do know, but I don't actually know exactly where it is located within the
It's a
continent.
giant big rock that looks like a like the world just put a giant plug in like, oh, you wanted to put a volcano here? No, there's a giant plug here on this flat plain, and now it's just, yeah, it's just there.
Yeah, if Australia
It's
was a
not even all
titty,
that
Ayers Rock
tall.
would be the nipple.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
exactly.
for anyone who is not familiar with Ayers Rock, if you remember the first Mission Impossible, it's what Tom Cruise was climbing.
Yeah,
This is a big ass fucking rock.
it's just one big ass rock. Yep. Not
Uh,
allowed to climb it anymore. It's now protected by the local inhabitants
oh,
for being a holy site. So yeah.
can't say I'm surprised, but I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, can't say I'm surprised, especially what with I know how tourists fuck up some
Oh my god,
national
tourists are
monuments.
the worst.
Yeah,
I mean, just because my entire economy is based on them and all that shit doesn't mean that I have to like it.
no. Like what dad almost decked a kid. There's one cave on the island that has stalagmites and stalactites. Only one. And this kid just reached up, grabbed one and just snapped it off. And dad was like, that was however many thousands of years in the making, and you just snapped it off like as if it was a branch on a tree. You little shit.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
that's
Dad almost decked him.
I admire his self control.
Yeah.
Like I think that is an eminently appropriate response in a situation like that. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
that's
that
just
took
ridiculous.
thousands of years to grow.
If not tens or hundreds.
Yeah.
Like your grandkids will not be able to see the damage that you have done fixed.
No.
Like at all. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So yeah. He did get picked up by the scruff of his neck and by the seat of his trousers and just fucking frog marched out.
By your dad or by security?
Yeah. Dad.
Nice.
Dad is
Your trip's
surprisingly
over.
good. Yeah, Dad is surprisingly good at doing that, picking someone up by the scruff of the neck and by their belt, and just lifting them, and just walking them out, despite the fact that he's 5'5".
Yeah, that was unexpected.
My dad is tiny, but he is like, think dwarf.
Okay.
like traditional dwarf.
Yeah. Like, just,
Yeah,
I might not be, but I am.
tall, but I am
Yeah.
mighty.
Just
the entire
stacked.
uh, the entire island is just stocked with hobbits and dwarves. That is one thing that is very common. Stephen stuck out like a sore thumb over there because everyone's tiny over there.
Makes sense. Uh, what was it? Insular dwarfism that we were talking.
Like my great aunt Daphne, she was like 5'1", and she wasn't. Like there's no. I've never seen a small person on the island, a midget.
Okay.
Uh, but like you don't go there and almost think that like, wait,
Is everyone a
small
midget or
person
is
or small
nobody?
person? You go there and that's what you kind of think. Is it a small person or is this just a small person?
I like how you put that together, and yeah, no, I can definitely understand that. I don't know, man. It's fucking weird, like just how like it doesn't really matter where you go, everybody's different, and yet they're all the same. Like that's because really, aside from reaching things on the high shelves, what does it matter how tall people are?
No.
It matters exactly as much as skin color matters, or who you want to fuck matters, or any of this. Like, it's fucking
Oh, some of the things that I hear other girls saying, like, "Oh, he must be over at least 5'8" or 6'1" or whatever, and I'm just like I know that it's sort of like pot calling kettle black, seeing as I'm dating a guy who's built like a brick shit house, but it really doesn't bother me. Like I've dated short guys before, it doesn't bother me. Like I don't get it with women.
yeah. I mean, well, my girl is also, as far as females go, she is fairly tall. So she's like, she loves the fact that I'm 6'4" because she's like, hey, tall girls like tiptoe kisses too. Like, so I kind of I see both sides of that. Like, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but at the same time, like, you you like to look up to somebody, kind of, not in the actual like sense, but like, yeah,
Like yeah, like if I was like a very, very tall woman, I think I wouldn't want to then be with a man who is like super shorter than me. But I'd still be okay with shorter than me.
yeah,
It's just that with me being only 5'5", then there's not many men who are shorter than me, and if they are, it's not by a difference that I really give a damn about.
yeah.
But if I was almost 6 foot myself, that'd be a different thing altogether, I think. I'm not sure. I've never been in those shoes before, but I can understand.
Press built sometime.
Damn, you guys should have kept my platforms.
I I don't know. I think it's just weird how no matter what, we kind of find ways to divide ourselves and to find some reason to look down on somebody else.
It's a
To
sad thing.
it's just kind of ridiculous to me, and especially with the events that are going on now. Not that now is a particularly strange time or anything like that. I mean, the same cycle's been repeating for much longer than our own lifetimes, but it's just fucking ridiculous. Like, why, as a species, have we not just figured out how to accept each other?
Fuck knows. Fuck knows.
I've never seen that before. That's great. Oh. That's a new one. I'm gonna end up stealing that. That's fucking great. Fuck knows.
Uh, um, yeah, when it comes to like global news, I tend to ostrich myself because it just gets me depressed.
Yeah,
Because it's like I can't do diddly fucking squat about people dying in fucking Israel or whatever sort of thing. And part of me ostriches for my own sanity, but another part of me ostriches because I, my logical side, my very cold, calculating lizard brain side, is like the population's already burst at 8 billion. We could stand to lose a couple of 100,000.
yeah, or even a couple 100 million. Um,
Yeah.
like yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not part of the movement that thinks that we're going to be in dire straits as a species because of numbers dwindling, like
No.
like
We're
numbers
fucking
that are over there.
cockroaches, man.
I believe that overpopulation is still a problem. Um,
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'm not saying that we've reached the carrying capacity of the planet. Absolutely not. If we managed our
No,
resources better, we could definitely.
economists and scientists think that our population cap will be somewhere in between 11 and 12 billion before we stop.
Yeah, and I think that even that wouldn't necessarily be a hard cap. Like
Hmm.
that is like the population cap of the world as it is right now. But if we actually learned how to cooperate as a species, then I
Yeah.
feel like if resources were actually used to their fullest potential, then I feel like we could easily double or maybe even triple our current population on this rock and be fine. We still need to get the fuck off this rock, but um, like yeah, I feel like the biggest problem is not Earth and it's not too few people. It's the fact that people are still individually fucking shit.
Yeah, because we can't share. Uh,
Because we can't share. You don't even need to finish the
yeah,
sentence. Like it's done right
yeah.
there. We can't fucking
Literally, we
share.
can't share. Yeah, both our knowledge, our experiences, like we can write down or whatever and share what we've learned, but whether or not that means that that person has learned what we know, no, no, they haven't learned what we know. They've rote learned what we know, but that doesn't mean that they've gone through the same experiences and been able to know that even though genetically this person and that person are like 0.5% difference in DNA, but just because that person has black skin, like the whole racial thing, it's stupid to me, but like they can know that on a genetic level, we're pretty much fucking identical.
Yeah, I mean,
And
even
yet,
if you consider us and fucking cephalopods,
yeah,
like you can look at our DNA, put it next to a fucking octopus, and there's still going to be far more that is identical than is different. Like
yeah,
the DNA shared amongst every living creature on this earth is more than 90% identical. Like
yeah.
we're
One
at
thing that I found amusing outside of like the whole apes and chimpanzees and monkeys, outside of that whole tree
uh-huh.
of the things that we're most closely related to, rodents. Rabbits, rats, guinea pigs, hamsters, chipmunks, squirrels.
That, yeah, I would not have guessed that, but that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I was like, huh.
Thank
Because
you, Raiders.
apparently,
Welcome to the interview. We are off the cuff with our friend Sharn from Down Under.
g'day.
G'day.
Feel as if I feel
Let's
as if
throw
I need to
another
say
shrimp
that.
on the barbie!
Oh, fuck off. It's not fucking shrimp, it's a prawn.
I know. I have never actually said that line or anything like other than just completely tongue in cheek. Like,
Yeah, pretty much the
and
same for
your
Australians.
onions, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do not actually bloom already deep fried, right?
Oh, one that fucking felt like as if it was deep fried in something. Stephen and I went to a caravan park for like a break for something. I don't know. We were staying there for a night or two, and we got like a local onion from the local store grown by a local farmer. We cut that thing open, and it was freaking napalm. Just we had to evacuate our cabin because we couldn't breathe inside.
Oh, wow. And, okay,
We like
have you noticed an overall trend in that stupid ass fucking onion chemical getting stronger?
really. I think it's just because it was like we got it straight from a local farm that wasn't like a mass produced farm
Yeah, you
sort
think it
of
was that
thing.
onion. I just like,
It,
I work in a kitchen, so I am cutting onions every day. Every fucking day. And yeah, I used to never have a problem with onions. And maybe it's just, I'm getting older and so I'm getting more sensitive to it. But I used to never have a problem with onions. And on the very rare instance where I did, like, I have tools for dealing with it. Like, if you slice a lemon before you slice the onion, then the citric acid will typically neutralize that stupid ass chemical. I don't remember the name of it. But
sulfur and change it to
it would
sulfur
work like a
dioxide.
charm every fucking time. And now it doesn't even touch it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking. I'm cutting red onions, like not even fucking, whites or
Not even
any
fucking
like
browns or whites. Jeez, yeah.
yeah, red onions, and like by the time I get through, one of them on the slicer, I'm already like half blind. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
The only thing that I like, everyone tells me I'm wrong when I say this, but I swear it works for me, so I keep on doing it. Everyone says you never cut the butt off of the onion because that's where all the worst of the stuff is. But I cut off the top and I cut off the butt, and then I rinse water over both ends.
Okay,
That's it. That's all I do.
makes sense.
And I don't know. It seems to work for me. Everyone, whenever I always say that I cut off the butt of the onions, they're like, "But that's where the worst of it is. I gotta put all of that in the air." And I'm like, mm I never have any problems.
Yeah, for me, I'm usually doing one of two things. I'm either if I'm running it on the slicer, then I cut off the bottom part. I leave the top on there because it's better for the little spiky part of the slicer to grip on,
Yeah,
and because there's always like an inch and a half left over that you can't slice,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so I want to try and
Get
maximize
as
what
much
I
of
am
the
able to yield.
yeah,
And then if I'm not doing that, then I'm julienning them, either for the line or to make bacon onion jam. In which case, they're like, obviously cut off both ends.
yeah,
But when I'm on the slicer, especially, and maybe it also just has to do with the speed of cutting because you're going so much faster. And it might also have something to do with the spinning motion of the blade itself. But I used to never have a problem with it, and then lately it's just every fucking time, and I don't even really think about it when I'm not like at work or whatnot. But then we started talking about onions, so it popped into my head.
the
Sorry, I
blade
guess we
just needs
started talking
sharpening.
about ogres.
Sorry?
I guess we started talking about ogres because ogres are like onions. They got
Oh, because
layers.
I like onions. They got layers. Just like a parfait. You can never turn down a good
You
parfait.
never heard
Although,
nobody say, "Man, I ain't no damn parfait."
true. I actually do love a really good parfait, especially mango and raspberry. Mango and raspberry parfaits are the shit.
Yes. Then again, mangoes are the shit, and raspberries are the shit, and parfaits are the shit. So when you combine all three of them, it's just parfait.
Yeah. Unless you ask Stephen, in which case he always says that mango ruins it because he hates mangoes. I'm like, you uncultured swine.
I mean,
But
I can
I can't
understand
really
hating Chris
speak.
Kattan, but I cannot understand hating mango.
Yeah, no, Stephen hates mango. He hates avocado. Although, to be fair, I don't like lychee.
You don't like lychee? What?
No.
I didn't even know lychee was a thing until we went up to New York 2 years ago, and we were walking through Chinatown, and Rebecca just saw a stand selling fresh lychee on the side of the road, and so we got a couple of pounds and just ate them as we were walking, and oh my fucking god, I love that shit.
There's something about the aftertaste that I just don't like. Oh. But one thing that I demand that you try if ever you see it, you need to have to go to like some weird ass Asian market in the middle of like peak summer. Would be a thing called mangosteen.
Okay, I think I've had like mangosteen juice and stuff like that. Like I'm familiar with it
Mm.
as an ingredient, but I don't think I've ever had actual mangosteen, and I'm not actually sure what it is like.
It looks like passion fruit from the outside, except that the leaves that are off the top are like round and bulbous, and you cut it around the hemisphere and pull off the top, and the inside looks like wet. Uh, it looks like garlic cloves, just
Okay,
like, but it's the texture of peeled grapes.
okay,
Texture of peeled grapes, but it looks like garlic cloves in it. Just white cloves that have got the same consistency as peeled grapes, and oh, they are heavenly.
okay. Yeah, I will definitely have to keep an eye out for that and try it. It sounds delightful. I'm just trying to picture garlic with the consistency of a fucking peeled grape. Like, yeah, that's
Feel free to
interesting.
Google them if you've got another screen available.
I unfortunately I do not, and that's actually the problem that I've been running into ever since Thanksgiving. I reorganized the office a little bit. My TV that I typically use as a second screen is sitting beside me, unplugged. So I need to. It's one of the things I need to get fixed tonight because I can't keep running the fucking game on just the one screen. Like it's trying to because I'm having to switch back and forth between the game screen and then the character chats, and because that's why y'all keep having to say, "Hey Rick, check character chats," because
Uh,
I have it's open, but I can't have it open and on top, so I don't see when shit's coming in. But definitely one of the things that I'm going to be fixing before the game tonight, and I also have a few maps to. That I've made, but I have to get uploaded and set up and everything like that. But I'm very, very excited about our session tonight.
there you go. I just put a picture of mangosteens in the chat.
Yeah, that is weird. It definitely does look kind of similar to garlic cloves, and I can see what you're talking about with the texture too, because it does look a little softer than your typical garlic.
It almost looks fluffy, but then you go and grab it, and it's like, oh, this is like grape texture. Okay.
And so, what about like that red kind of fleshy part? Is that also edible, or is that part of the rind, or
It's like rind. It's very dry, very bitter. Like, but not in like. It's bitter in the way that if you were to get a mouthful of like bicarb soda. how it's just that dry bitterness.
Okay.
It doesn't really taste bad, like it does taste bad, but like it's not like. Have you ever had that? Not sure if you would. Uh, the stuff that people put on their nails to stop them from biting their nails that tastes like shit.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I've never had a nail biting problem, but it
Uh,
makes sense.
I have, but yeah, it tastes like crap. Most people, when they think of bitter, they think of that sort of really, but that is, yeah, it just tastes really dry, even though it's like a wet rind. You put it in your mouth and you're like, suddenly I feel like as if there's a desert in my mouth.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So it might make for a good gin flavoring.
Possibly, actually, yeah. Maybe.
I am not into gin at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's
No, I've always been a lolly water drinker.
a what water?
And lolly water.
Lolly water.
As
As in
in
like
any
just
alcohol that is so sweet that you can't taste the alcohol.
yeah, that's named after a lollipop. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or maybe lollygagging, which is what you're gonna do afterwards. I I never really been partial to the super sweet drinks, although I'll definitely enjoy them. For me, like my go-to is I'm a Scotch on the rocks guy. Whiskey, bourbon, whatever. But when I was over in Okinawa, I arrived on the island just barely 18 years old, and the drinking age in Okinawa is alive. So I basically spent that entire year drunk, and I'm so glad I did because most of my family is like alcoholics. Um, I mean, functional and not like the abusive and like the typical, you hear that word, the mental image that you get with it, but just like a lot of health problems specifically due to significant consumption of alcohol and also tobacco. Um, but like I pretty much don't get drunk anymore. Like I'll get a scotch or maybe two, whatever, and I'll just sit there and sip it and enjoy it all night rather than getting shit faced. I like to remember my good times.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Bit the same. My parents, they're basically hippies. Uh, and yeah, grew up with them drinking, smoking, drugs, sort of thing. And I was a bit of the white sheep in the black sheep family where I just watched them doing all this, my sister included, once she was old enough, and I just went,
Nah.
nah. And I'm glad that I did like do that because I like things like biting my nails. I had to move interstate to stop myself from biting my nails. It takes like big life changes to stop me from like to crack me out of a habit.
I can understand
Um,
that. Especially because like with the new year, I have not smoked or drank anything. Um,
yeah,
and I mean the drinking is not really an issue. That one's easy, but not smoking. I mean, quitting both tobacco and marijuana they're both just very fucking difficult for me. I know they're not for everybody, and I know that for some they're even more, but it's rough.
I can only imagine.
Even right now, like I
Because
want to just fucking run up to the store and just grab a fucking Black and Mild, like. But every time I'm just keep thinking of like how much, above all else, how much money I'm saving by not buying that shit. Like that's really what it comes down to. It's. I think though that is my proclivities in that arena are primarily what have kept me broke my entire life. And it's like,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's time for a major fucking change with that.
yeah, no, I had to move into like interstate, completely different cities, new friends, new social life, new everything. It takes that kind of change for me to break out of habits.
Yeah,
Because if I'm in the same place with the same people, no fucking way can I break my habits. Um, it's just, yeah, I'm a very habitual creature, and so I'm very glad that I never picked up any of
Yeah,
the
absolutely. Like
smoking or any of that.
I have always been somewhat envious of people who never smoked or who tried
Yeah,
it once and were like, no, no, thank you. Like, I wish.
yeah,
There's not much in my life that I would change if I had an opportunity to, because I take my lessons from shit. But if I could go back and never start smoking, oh my god, in a fucking heartbeat. Fucking heartbeat. And I never really had that chance though. My mom smoked, drank, and dropped acid during pregnancy. Like I was born
Oof.
high. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have a picture of me on my third birthday with my first beer. Like I was
Uh,
given
uh,
a whole beer for my third birthday. I had my first sips of beer on my second birthday. I never had a chance to not be a fucking addict. So
yeah.
it's also I'm both very excited and looking forward to meeting myself, but at the same time I'm
Mm.
fucking terrified. Like I don't like me as I am. Fucking sober? Oh my god, am I gonna hate myself? Like, am I gonna legit straight up hate myself? Because I already kind of do, but like, at least I'm funny. Am I gonna lose that?
No,
Like, I don't know what I would do with myself.
no. If anything, you'll learn. Like you already seem to know it, but you'll be even better, I think, at the self awareness, which makes you even better at some of the comedy when you're pulling fun at yourself.
That is definitely my single highest ranked skill is making fun of myself. Like that's the one thing I'm probably up
Underrated
there in the
skill.
90s and if
Yeah,
this were a video game and you had passing and catching and running and breaking tackles and shit like that, making fun of yourself would be my highest stat, hands down.
it's an underrated talent. You'd be surprised how many people don't know how to do it, and they really need to learn.
Hmm. Because it kind of goes also hand in hand with allowing other people to make fun of you and keeping it fun, which
Keeping it
I'm
fun.
not as good
Yeah,
at that, but I'm still better than average, I feel.
yeah.
But yeah,
Keeping it fun. It helps. It just helps with self awareness. I think it allows you to accept your faults because you're goddamn human. And humans have faults.
yeah, absolutely. Like, ain't none of us perfect as a species. We definitely aren't. We're also not without our positive traits, and
Yeah,
that's also true of every individual. I mean,
yeah,
no matter who you think of throughout history, even the worst of the worst, none of them are completely without redeemable qualities. And
yeah,
even if you think of the best, none of them are without their own flaws and shortcomings.
yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's it's so strange how as a species we tend to try and see everything in black and white. We want to divide everything into just strictly two groups, and nothing ever fits cleanly. Like even if you like uh, uh, even a border as significant as like our atmosphere versus the cold darkness of outer space. A lot of people kind of imagine that there's an actual line where it's just like the air stops, but that's not how it works. That's not how
No,
anything works. It just kind of gets
it's
thinner
thinner
and
and
thinner
thinner
and
and
thinner
thinner
and
and
thinner
thinner
and
until
thinner
the sort of
until
like
it's not there.
the amount of gas there is so negligible that it may as well not be there.
Exactly. And then like
Yeah.
of course the perfect vacuum of outer space also not how it works. I
No.
mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at parts per trillion, but you're not looking at zero.
No. Yeah. Space is not. Um. empty. Very darn close to it, but not empty.
Exactly. How
So,
how uh, how much do you care slash know about like the origins of the universe?
uh, Big Bang starting off, most of the universe formed within a fairly relatively fast amount of time. Uh, Stars blowing up over and over and over again, creating heavier and heavier metals and minerals and elements and so on until eventually planets were born and whatnot. You know,
Yeah, fairly basic rundown understanding. I feel like I kind of missed my calling because I never really had that huge interest in it in like high school and whatnot or in school in general, but I always kind of felt like drawn towards the stars and whatnot and space. I've always been kind of fascinated just by everything out there. Um, but I've also started to realize lately that I really do kind of have a mind for physics. Having never taken any kind of physics classes or anything like that, I'm able to watch a lot of, really deep, in depth type of shit and follow along. Like, I'm not going to say I can understand every bit of it. I haven't been trained in it or anything like that, but I grok it, I kind of get the fundamental concepts and I understand what they're talking about. And I've just been listening to a lot of shit and following along. And I feel like that's something that I could have been pretty good at and really enjoyed. But at the same time, I cannot begin to imagine the myriad ways that my life would be different if I had actually pursued that path. Like, I don't think there's a single thing about it that would be the same.
one thing though, I always know the one question that always frustrates a lot of like astronomers and physicists is asking them their theories on white holes.
Yeah,
I always love that because it's like theoretically possible. Are they out there? Fuck knows.
I think that the way I would look at it is because, yeah, theoretically, are they possible? Absolutely. But what if the Big Bang was actually a white hole? What if every time a black hole is created in our universe, it is actually the birth of another universe?
Entirely possible.
I mean, there are so many different versions of multiverse theory that just make sense, and like that's really kind of where my inclinations lie. Is like, and I kind of I feel like there's that level of potentiality, and then there's also the fact that we know the universe is larger than we can ever hope to experience because we see the expansion, we can kind of measure that rate, and so we know that there are things that we can see today that we will not be able to see tomorrow because they are moving away from us faster than the speed of light. We know we kind of have that understanding of the cosmic microwave background, and we're able to kind of do the equations and model things out to where we're able to tell what happened to down to 600 thousandths of a second after the Big Bang, something like that. Um, and all of that shit is fascinating. And then like how the first stars formed, what the shit going on around them looked like, how there actually are potentially, we have to find them, but there are potentially some of those first generation of stars could still be out there. The vast majority of them long fucking dead because they were massive, and
Yeah.
the bigger a star is, the faster it burns up. But there were some of them that were in smaller pockets and that could still actually exist today, 14 billion years later. Like, this shit is fucking amazing, and yeah, I really wish that I had paid more attention younger and actually could make a career out of that because it's fucking amazing and so much cool
Uh,
shit.
uh, I think it's on the coast of Melbourne. Could be Sydney, but I think it's Melbourne. Um, there's a like a walking track that has a 1 to 1 billion scale of the universe. With like the sun at the center, and the more you walk away, you see like Mercury, Venus, like
Oh,
etc.
that's
as you walk
amazing.
away. But if you walk in the other direction away from the sun, like if you go Mercury, etc., but if you walk in the other direction, not too far, like closer than Mercury, you actually get to Alpha Centauri because of the whole distance. If you were to keep on walking all the way around Earth and come back up around the Earth from the other side, that's how far away Alpha Centauri is from the sun
Okay.
at a 1 to 1 billion scale,
Yeah,
according to the hemisphere of the Earth.
that's awesome. And I mean, as if I didn't already have enough reasons to go and visit Australia. Like, no, that's a bucket list fucking right there. Like
Yeah.
that's dope as hell. Like, one of the things that fascinates me also is fucking Voyager. We launched Voyager in what, 72?
Something like that.
And
I
it's
can't remember. Like, are we still getting photos from it?
oh, not only that, it's not left the solar system yet.
True. Like, oh, it's left one of the versions of what we call our solar system.
Yeah, I mean, it's outside of the planetary orbits,
Yeah,
but
but it hasn't gotten past
the
the
Oort
meteor
cloud.
ring. The yeah
Yeah, and
yeah.
like fucking 50 goddamn years that motherfucker has been flying and just, accelerating because, well, probably not now, but like all of the little gravity well whips that we were able to do off of the different planets and shit like that. And also found out that there were no plan when it was launched. They didn't think they were going to be able to do Neptune. They had to make some adjustments, and like the fact that even with technology that was launched that long ago, we had the ability to adjust shit on the fly when it is in the outer solar system past fucking Saturn and Uranus. We're still able to make fine adjustment. Like, what the how is that fucking possible?
It's like, yeah, this bit of information is going to take it like 3 hours to download, and at a rate of like it won't receive this information for 7 days or more, sort of thing. But we know what the lag is. So as long as we know what the lag is, we know where it is. We can work with that.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean numbers just by themselves, like it's so fucking fascinating how it just transcends all of our human language and how you can encapsulate just about anything within numbers, and yet at the same time uh, you have both sides of that coin of numbers don't lie, but numbers can say
Mm.
absolutely anything you want them to.
Oh yes, Stephen knows that well.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. With that job, there's no question he knows that.
Uh, yeah, fuck, he hates that. He hates that he has to like, oh, can you make the numbers look like this? And he's like, really? Can't you just give it the raw truth? No, can you make it do a positive spin? Fuck you.
Yeah,
uh, or he'll give them the information thinking there's no way that they can possibly put a positive spin on it. And then, like, a week later, they're doing a presentation and he sees how they've done it. And he's like, you motherfuckers.
do you have a favorite number?
Well, I'm quite fond of the year I was born, 88, being a double.
Yeah, eight's also a good a good number in general. Eight, I think eight's my brother's favorite number also.
Yeah. I
Um,
know seven's Steven's favorite, but eight's mine.
Mine is three.
That's my mum's favorite.
It's such a weird number. Like, did you know that you can take any number ever, like anywhere on that fucking line, and if you add the digits together, if it is a multiple of three, you add those digits together all the way down, and you will get a multiple of three. The same is
Nice.
true of nine. If you add up the digits of any multiple of nine, you will get nine. So that's
Only
a little trick that I didn't learn early enough to help me in school at all, but I taught it to my kids and they used it and it helped them out in school. Like you can very easily check if something's divisible by nine. Just add the numbers together.
yeah.
And
Add the
that's
numbers
not going to
together.
say
Is that number divisible by nine? Yes, then it's divisible by nine.
yeah, exactly. Like I got 333. Well, 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. Yeah, that adds up to 9. So, yeah, that's probably divisible by 9. It's fucking crazy. Like, and the different treatments that we can apply and so many things that we can do with them and the patterns and I just have so much fun with numbers and I'm constantly thinking about random ass stupid shit. Like even the fucking dates, like New Year's Eve was 1 2 3 1 2 3, and like how cool is
Oh
that?
yeah, that was so much fun doing that on the. Although it wasn't for us, it was uh 3 3 1 2 3. Yeah, 3 1 2 3 because we do day month then year. So
Yeah,
it was 3 1 2 3 1 2. Yeah, but it was still fun to do on the because it was still just basically running your fingers going along,
yeah, exactly.
doing the dates. So that was fun during New Year's Eve, just doing the writing in the day, just being like.
And then like I proposed on February 2nd, 2000 or no February 22nd, 2022 at 10:22 p.m. because military time 22:22. So it was
Nice.
2:22:22 at 22:22.
It's like Stephen and I getting married on Australian date 4321.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. And she was like, "Oh, I want to have a long engagement," and I was like, "Okay." She was like, "So when do you think you want to get married?" I was like, "Well, I like numbers, so how about 10, 20, 30?" She's like, "Oh, not that long." So I was like, "All right, how about 4 2 4 2 4?" Or how about actually no, I think that yeah, 11 11 23 is actually one that we were gonna do because I couldn't. I really wanted to do January 1st 23. You know the Fibonacci sequence 1 1 2 3,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's yeah we were not able to make
Not
that happen.
not able. No,
Fucking
you have to book
physical
that
dumbass.
way in advance. Plus, trying to just get any people to just come.
Yeah, yeah. New Year's Day would be a bad day to try and do anything because yeah, it's like
My
the
sister
people
suffers
that
from
get
that.
married on Christmas and then they're upset and surprised when nobody shows up except their parents and the people that they're paying to be there. Like, the fuck did you expect? You are not more important than Christmas.
Huh, yeah.
Unless you're Jewish. In which case, why would you pick that day? Or like Hindu or
Yeah.
something. Like, if the day doesn't mean anything to you, then that's one thing, but it's still going to mean more to other people. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Uh, but the 1 1 2 3 that would have been awesome, but I definitely understand that would not have worked because my sister suffers from the same thing. Her birthday's on the 2nd.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard on her, like the couple of days before her 18th, because legal drinking age is 18. And she's sort of like, come on, this is my ID. I'm 18 in 2 days and this is New Year's Eve. Fucking hell, let me, please, just, it's 48 hours. Ah!
Yeah. I when I graduated boot camp before heading on to my other later stages of training and then eventually over to Okinawa, I had a week and a half back at home on boot leave. So I went to my high school and I waited for classes to let out and everything, and then I ran up to my favorite teacher's room and I took him out for a beer. I was
Nice.
17. I got carded. I and I mean, yeah, I was just a few days before my 18th birthday, but the drinking age is 21 here. And it was a brand new military ID. Like they had just issued a new kind of card. So
Yeah.
instead of the ones that everyone was used to, this had a lot more information on it, but it was also kind of fucked up because the date, your birth date, wasn't on the front of the card anywhere. It's on the back and it's in black text, but it's situated on a black and white photo. And that photo is of the same photo that's on the front, which is for Marines, you're in your dress blues. So it is black text on a black and white picture of a navy blue uniform. And
Yeah.
nobody fucking finds it ever. So I actually had to point out where my birthday is on the card to this guy. And he looks at me, looks at the card, looks at me, looks at the card, looks at me, looks at the card, looks at my teacher, looks at the card, looks at me. You said a Budweiser, right, sir? Like you could just
Really.
see the wheels turning. Like this kid is not legal. He's not even close, but he's military.
So, uh,
That was fun.
oh, goodness. Yeah, the military here doesn't get even nearly as much respect, clout, as it does in America. Like, people will thank them for their service, absolutely. But it's not like uh, people won't bend over backwards uh, as much as they seem to on telly for people who have served.
And there are a minority of people who are like that. Um, Honestly, the system itself probably treats your veterans much better than ours does ours.
Probably.
Um, but that's just because, well, this
Our
system
system
is
treats.
totally fucked as far as veterans
Yeah.
are concerned. Um, but also, like, just in general, as far as providing any kind of assistance to anybody, that's definitely not America's strength. Um, there are individuals who are very support the troops. There are individuals who are very anti support the troops. Um, and of course, there are a lot of people that are very anti war and yet still understand the difference between those who are leading and starting the wars and those who are actually serving. Um, so like there's definitely that gradient there. Um, and like working in the service industry, I've seen a lot of people who like get offended and upset if you don't have a military discount or something like that. And like, I mean, every once in a while I'll ask, particularly if 20% is going to be substantial, but I'm not going to be upset if somebody doesn't have it. Um,
Yeah.
I don't ask most of the time. If I see something mentioning it, like I do carry a copy of my DD 214, so I can always prove, yeah, military, and I'll take advantage of it. But like, yeah, I don't understand the people that get upset about it, that expect it. It's like that's not what you volunteered for. You
No.
know, and I mean, I do have my bitterness towards the military as well, um, which is probably no surprise to anybody. But yeah, it's like that's if you signed up to get a 20% discount at Burger King,
Then you joined the
it's
military for the
fucking
wrong
reason.
reasons.
Yeah, like yeah, I don't. I understand that even less than like one of my buddies over in Okinawa. He came from a fucking rich family. Like he was loaded, and this motherfucker never wore the same pair of socks twice.
Like,
That's the correct response. Yeah, when I realized this, I was like, what the fuck? He would literally open a bag of socks, put on a pair. When he took them off, he would throw them out. And it's like, the second wear of a pair of socks is the best because they're still got the brand new feel, but you already got all the shit out of them. So you're not like pulling burrs off of your feet, even though they're not burrs, they're soft but they're stuck on. Like, what the fuck?
even part of me is also going, ew, you're wearing them straight from the factory without washing the Chinesium out of them?
Ha. I actually I was watching a video earlier and it was like a review of some products and stuff by a funny YouTuber that I enjoy, Call Me Chris, and I actually ended up forwarding it to Kevin, primarily because her dog's name is Kevin, and I thought that was hilarious, and especially with the conversation that we were having last night about him and Fairheart both being named Kevin, and the fact that he is looking for a dog actively in game. So I'm gonna give him a dog named Kevin as well.
Here, Kevin. Don't take that kind of tone with me. I was talking to the dog.
One of the things that she reviewed though was like this little mini blender, and like she pulled it out of the box and she opened it and she was like, "Oh, that smells weird," and then she starts putting shit in it to blend with it, and I'm like, "No, that it smells weird because that's the fucking oils from the manufacturing process. Like,
Yeah,
wash
wash
that
that
shit
shit.
before you eat from it."
Yeah, like anything like this, brand new from online store, made in I don't know some country. Yeah, got it. First thing, washed it.
Yeah, like even when I was working for Aaron's, like we deliver a brand new washer and dryer to somebody, it's run 2 cycles with no clothes in it. Get
Yep,
the oils from the manufacturing process out first, otherwise they will ruin your clothes.
yep. Put a hygiene rinse in it. Yep.
It's amazing how people, not all obviously, but how many people think that just because something is new, that it's clean and safe to use immediately out of the package. Like I
No.
wash all of my dishes first. I wash like
Yeah.
clothes. Like yeah, you fucking wash shit before you use it, and especially produce. And that was one that I didn't get as like younger.
Yeah.
But Rebecca has definitely been really good about it, and has kind of her
Oh, water,
persistence on
little
it
bit of
has
vinegar.
really like kind of driven the point home to me. And then like especially with the restaurant I'm working at right now, like we're farm to table, so we have like 11 local farms that we work directly with, and like especially the produce that's coming out of New Smyrna. Like New Smyrna is a cool place and everything like that, but the soil out there is just so infused with silica. It's almost like every single piece of produce that we get, every head of lettuce, it's almost like somebody just took 2 or 3 of those silica gel packs and just opened it and shook it over the top. Like it's just fucking coated in the shit. And so you got to rinse that stuff for
Yeah.
hours before it's fucking salvageable to sell. And I mean it's great
Yeah.
produce. Like we got good farmers and they produce good stuff, but like you got to get that shit off of there first.
Yep. trough bowl or trough or however much water that you need, plus a little bit of vinegar, and then just leave it in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look
or
how
we just kind of constantly run water on it. We'll put it in a big ass fucking bus tub and just leave it under the faucet for a few hours, just constantly running, just like thawing shit out.
fair enough. One thing that I wish that they did that before actually shipping it to the island. The island never had frogs. They do now because of fresh produce getting shipped over with a bunch
Oh,
of frogs in
okay.
them.
Yeah, I know that there have been some species that have been introduced, like in terms of pets and whatnot, but I never even really thought about it just traveling on produce. But I guess that's how the spiders got around in arachnophobia, right?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Lord Howe Island, the only poisonous, like truly, like you have to be careful poisonous, is the redback, but you literally have to go searching for it. It's
Yeah, so
like you
does
have to.
Lord Howe have that? Well, obviously, you just said there's only one actually poisonous species there, so it's not the same danger level as Australia
Oh
copper.
no, there's no snakes over there. There's no like if there is reptiles, it's like skinks and geckos. Um, the poisonous spiders over there are either white tips, which unless you're either a baby or really really old, are not harmful. They just hurt. Um, or redbacks, which are harmful, but you literally have to go hunting for them.
Okay.
Like go scrounging in the back of your shed in the darkest fucking corner to try and find one. Um, but otherwise, no, it's perfectly safe on land. The ocean is another kettle of fish altogether. The ocean is always dangerous, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, the ocean is a dangerous soup.
Yep. Um, it's not as dangerous as up north because we don't have like the box jellyfish or saltwater alligators or uh, we get blue bottle jellyfish, but not the Portuguese man o' war, which a lot of people get mixed up because they look very similar. But the blue bottles, they just sting.
Yeah, whereas the man of war is the deadliest jellyfish, right?
Yeah, yeah, along with the box jellyfish. It's like man o' war and the box jellyfish up north. The blue bottles they look like man o' wars, but they're not. They just sting. So we get them on the island. But otherwise, it's got the southernmost coral reef in the world, so it'll probably be the last coral reef to die out.
Yeah, the Great
If
Barrier Reef. I,
yeah,
I,
that's
uh, that is one of the things about Okinawa that I am still kicking myself for is, when I was there, it was by a significant margin the cheapest place in the world to get scuba certified.
yeah.
And I didn't because I basically spent that entire year drunk. Um, so, things that could have been done better for sure. Also, I love sushi, and I did not eat sushi the entire fucking time I was there. Like,
Oh fuck.
yeah, like you're in Japan, you're in the home of this food. How are you not eating that? I ate at the curry house all the time. Like, I'm eating fucking Indian food in Japan, and I mean, it's good. Oh my god, curry house
Yeah.
is fucking amazing. But yeah, why not try the local shit, the good shit? But live and learn and then get loves. I mean, it was still an amazing year. I loved it, and I would love to go back and fix some of those things that I didn't do. But
I must admit that's one of the things that the staffies on the island that we get in over the summer, they come over, they get like paid work to live on a subtropical island, but then they'll also get their scuba license and their I'm not sure if you guys call it the same thing, their bosun's license, i.e. boat driving license.
oh, um, I am familiar with the term bosun, but I never actually knew what it means. So I'm going to guess that yeah, it's there's. I don't know anything about a boating license, so
Yeah. Bosun basically allows you to drive any boat with an outboard motor.
okay.
So that goes up to like large fishing vessels, but not into like yachts, catamarans,
Yeah.
or anything
I,
like
I
that.
don't I don't know if anything like that would actually be required. I'll ask my brother because he's got a boat. He's got a good. He's actually got like an ocean fishing vessel. Um, he
I
like
don't
he,
think you need one for like dinghy, like little metal dinghy thing with a tiny outboard motor. I don't think you need a boat license for that. But it's when you get up to like commercial grade that you need one. Here
okay.
at least.
Yeah, I'm sure like commercial and in like actual shipping ships and whatnot, you would definitely have to have some kind of certification for. But like Rebecca's uncle has a couple of boats, and we've been out with them on them and everything like that. I actually helped him build one because one of them he's basically built himself. Um, and I don't think license has ever been mentioned. And that wouldn't necessarily surprise me, even if it is required. Um,
Where you live, a lot of people will just be like, "Do you know how to drive this?" Yes, cool.
yeah, exactly. And if even if you don't, it's like, well, let me teach you, because like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I've been in control piloting the boat a couple of times.
Yeah, the bosun's license, yeah, basically anything that is like commercial grade with an outboard motor. So it doesn't cover you for catamarans, yachts, ships, or anything. It's just anything that is small enough to be driven by an outboard motor, which they can still get pretty big,
Yeah,
but not huge.
exactly. You like you're not powering a fucking cruise ship on an outboard motor.
No.
No, them bitches is built in.
Yep. Like it might open you some doors to get onto cruise ships because it means that you've got it's a bit like having a bus license and then going, well, I want to go drive a heavy rigid, and they go, oh, you've got a bus license, cool, we get you the training for the heavy rigid sort of big truck license then. That
Yeah,
should be easy enough.
because at least
Gets
you
your
have
foot in the door.
experience with moving something that has some mass behind it.
Yeah, yeah, it gets your foot in the door. So a lot of the stuff is over there. They'll get their bosun's license and their scuba license over there whilst working at the hotels and whatnot.
Gotcha. Yeah, that does seem like a pretty nice perk. That's actually one of the perks I kind of missed out on is because I was a driver in the Marine Corps. You have the same kind of thing of you can just take the course or the class for or the test for the CDL without having to go through the training because you've already done the training.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't do that either. I by the time I got out, like I knew I did not want to be a CDL driver.
Yeah,
But
I didn't never took my scuba license because I've got the same sort of sinus problems as my mother. So basically, the moment I get too deep, my ears start going, oh, this type of pressure? No, 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 no. You need to go back up.
gotcha.
So yeah,
And so, like, what's your kind of maximum depth before you start to get like really uncomfortable with that?
about 5 meters.
Yeah, yeah. There's really no point
Five,
in
five to eight sort of thing. Which basically I can dive down on my own breath to do if I really wanted to.
exactly, exactly. Like, it's not going to stop you from snorkeling or swimming, but
No,
yeah, you
no,
don't need scuba for that level, so you can just
no.
safely skip it. I get it.
Um, must admit, I didn't put two and two together when I went skydiving in New Zealand. And went skydiving in New Zealand and had similar sort of issue with the change of pressure and could not eat for 3 days and had a massive migraine for like a day and a half.
Jesus,
Yeah, after skydiving. So loved it. We'll never do it again though.
gotcha. And do you guys have any of these like the fake indoor skydiving tubes there? Like, is that a thing that exists?
Indoor skydive. Is that with the fans
Yeah,
blowing you up?
yeah.
I think they are around. They're very much more of a Sydney or Melbourne or like Gold Coast at the theme parks sort of thing, where there's like Dream World, Underwater World,
Yeah,
uh,
gotcha. Makes sense.
Movie World sort of thing. All the theme parks would have that sort of thing. So it'd be in those sorts of areas. I know that there's one in New Zealand because I went in one in New Zealand. That was fun. Although I wish that I plaited my hair because my I had it back in a ponytail. It did nothing. It just turned my whole hair into one massive fucking dreadlock after the ponytail.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Or at least put it up in a fucking tight bun or some shit. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I
loose
just
hair
had
is
it in a
definitely
ponytail
not going to
and thought,
react
that'll be
well in.
fine. That'll be fine. No, gave myself a bloody beaver tail.
Yeah, that I honestly I kind of thought that that might have been what my birthday surprise was going to be. Like we were talking about it at work and whatnot because Rebecca had been like, "All right, so for your birthday, you have to sign a waiver." And she's like, "But I don't really want to ruin the surprise." I'm like, "You can forge my signature. I don't fucking care, whatever." But when I started telling people at work, they're like, "Do you think she's gonna take you skydiving or something?" I was like, "That would be an amazing surprise." I don't know. Like, I literally have no fucking clue what it was. She took me to a rage room. I
A
just got
rage room.
yeah, I
Oh,
got
you can
15
just
minutes
smash
with
it.
fucking like bats and crowbars and a fucking a bunch of dishes and a TV and oh my god, it was fun destroying that TV.
One thing
I
that
like
in New Zealand was so much fun, but just way too overpriced for what it was. What it was. Have you ever been in a Zorb ball, like the human hamster ball that's all inflated and whatnot?
no, I know what you're talking about, but I've not experienced it.
So much fun, but it's so overpriced in New Zealand. It was like $80 to experience this. A lot of fun to go into that thing and then gets just pushed down a hill through like this sort of winding trail in this ball that's filled with water so that you don't get fucking friction rash. But oh, so much fun. I want to do it again.
That sounds like it. I actually saw a video. Some of my coworkers are huge concert goers, and they were showing me some videos last night as we were closing up, and there was one where this dude came out and was in one of them balls and literally just ran onto the crowd, and it was full of fucking glow sticks and shit like that because it was like an EDM type show. Like all the lights going on and everything, and people are tripping fucking balls in the audience and everything like that. And he's just in a fucking a ball like that, and he's got like the the glow sticks that are like necklaces, the really long thin ones. He's got like 100 of them like zip tied onto his arms and shit like that. He's just like completely full fucking bodysuit armor of glow sticks, and then another couple dozen just like floating around inside the ball, and he's just getting tossed around by the crowd, and oh, it looked like so much fun.
Oh, epic! Because I've done like the glow sticks at a concert. I've done that like with do you know Lindsay Sterling, the violinist?
Yes.
Yeah,
Recently, I actually have learned of her, and I'm a big fan.
yeah. She's come to Australia a couple of times. And one time that she was here, I went nuts, absolutely nuts with the glow sticks, and even like gave them to like other people in the crowd so everyone could have glow sticks in the crowd.
Nice.
And so she just had this random gonzo where suddenly everyone had glow sticks, and she's like, "Cool."
Yeah, I mean, there's never a bad time for glow sticks, except for daylight
Yeah.
hours.
Nah, it was good. The only thing that I've got to say about Lindsay Sterling, though, at least the acts that she had in Australia, she seems to source local acts wherever she goes rather than have one travel with her, which means that the acts that she has on site are not great.
Not hugely impressed by the Australian music scene, are we?
Not the ones that she managed to source, at least.
Fair.
Uh,
She didn't get AC/DC
the,
then?
no, no,
Somehow I don't picture AC/DC opening for Lindsey Sterling, no.
no, no,
Maybe
no. I
vice
very much
versa,
doubt it.
but probably not that either. They're a little shoehorned difference in terms of style.
Yeah, she kept on trying to get DJs, and like the DJ scene here in Australia is not tip top shape.
Okay. So there's an opening, is
Um,
what you're telling me.
oh yes, oh yes. If you want to be like the head fucking DJ person in Australia, they are few and fucking far between. Like they're there, sort of, kind of. You have to go hunting for them.
Gotcha. So hire a live band for the wedding, is what you're saying. Because if you ain't got a DJ, you gotta do
Yeah,
something.
yeah. On one in particular, he was so bad where I'm like, I would literally prefer a blank black stage with a countdown clock. I would literally prefer that right now. So, yeah, yeah. Oh, it was still a good time. Still a good show. At least once she came on.
How many times have you seen her?
3 times?
Oh, wow. How long has she been around? Because, like I said, I just recently found out about her for like maybe a month ago.
Uh, let's see. We just. We didn't see Sterling. Because she initially went on like one of those those like X Factor sort
Somewhere's
of,
Got Talent.
yeah, Somewhere's Got Talent, and like someone like Simon Cowell or someone basically told her that she sounded like a bag of screeching cats and told her to get out. And
I mean, she's playing the
so she
violin. Of course, it sounds like a bag of screeching cats. That is what a violin does. However, if you play it well, you can manipulate those screeching cats to do some amazing things.
Exactly, exactly. And so she went off and decided to become freaking YouTube famous, and they've been trying to get her back onto whatever it was, like Britain's Got Talent or X Factor or whatever the fuck it was, to be like, this was one of our young stars who didn't quite make the cut, but she's famous now, so you can too. And she just told them, you want me to do what?
Right?
Yeah, you can go get fucked. But yeah, she became big about 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
11,
think
12
the
years ago when
first
she
thing of
started doing
hers that
like
I
Zelda
heard
medleys
was
and Skyrim
her
medleys.
remake of Kashmir by Zeppelin. And it's one of my
Ah.
favorite songs of all time. She did a great fucking job on it, so I was like immediately hooked.
I learnt of her when she released the Skyrim theme with Peter Hollins, because I was already a Peter Hollins fan at that time.
Cool.
So that's where I learnt of her, and that was, yeah, 11 years ago. Now that I look it up. Jeez, long time. So that
What
would have
is
been,
your favorite remake of a song?
I think it's got to be Diana and Kudanova. Uh, Wise Men Say by the I Can't Help Falling in Love with You by Elvis Presley.
Okay.
She does a dark version, and
Awesome.
it's so good. Um, I'll link you and you can watch it later. Um, but I love it when people take a song and make it like just oh, that was a happy song, and now it's giving me shivers down my spine. I love it when they do that. So I'll just find that, share, and copy and paste. There you go. So you can watch that later.
Thank you much. And I'm sure that you're probably super tired and ready for a nap, huh?
I know that I'm going to be starting Pathfinder in like 4 hours, 5 hours.
No. Yeah. Yeah, actually. Well, yeah, we'll have our pregame in 5.5. So we
Yeah.
start in just under 6. I just know
So I could
it's
probably,
super early in the morning there, and I want to be respectful of your time. If you have somewhere else to be, or if you want to get some rest, I want to allow you to go do it. I'm more than happy to continue the conversation, though.
more than happy to continue. I was more than prepared just to stay up.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I'm wondering, because this is also something that Kevin and I were talking about last night. How did you feel in the last session when out of nowhere, Fairheart was just like, "Yeah, out of all of you, the only person here I like is Brother Bonk."
I could kind of really tell like from the way that the storyline's going, because Brother Bonk is basically just the has been playing like the happy, almost happy go lucky, for lack of a better term, sort of. Oh, you down? Let me just pick you back up. You standing? You good? All right, let's go. And basically ignoring most of whatever fucking turmoil that's going on in Fairheart's head, which Fairheart kind of needs someone to just, you're going through shit? Cool, whatever. We need to go this way.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm really glad to see the interplay between them two now. Now that Brother Bonk has a little bit better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting for me because I had not intended to play him as an intelligent person. So now that he's got intelligence, I'm like, oh fuck, how am I going to play him now?
You don't have
Fuck.
to though, because it's part of the reason why I never revealed that earlier on or anything like that is because it's kind of fully intended that you continue to play him as you have been and
True.
not let on that all of a sudden you're a lot smarter. Of course, they've already figured that out a little bit because the first thing that happened is you played chess, and I don't know if you
Yeah.
actually saw what I sent him, but I was like,
No.
I said, Brother Bonk wins the first game. Brother Bonk wins the second game. Or no, I was in messages with Kevin, so I was like, you lose the first game. You lose the second game. You lose the third game. You lose the fourth game. You think you have the fifth game, but Bonk forces a stalemate. You lose the next 5.
No, I did not see those messages.
Yeah, so you won 9 out of 10, and the one time he thought he won, you were like, nah, no, you don't.
No. No.
So that's why he all of a sudden figured out, wow, you're really smart now. What the hell's going on? But I was not about to give your headband to him. Like, no, that's not gonna work.
No, this is keyed into him, and this is something that he's been wearing that was given to him by his tutors, so on.
Yeah,
It's got like, yeah,
but I think
it's
it's good.
been
I'm
linked.
so happy with the way that this campaign has been going overall. Um, Definitely some things that I would improve. Primarily, I want more players. So yes, Chris, I saw you talking about a potential other player. Definitely hop in the Discord. Let's get that chat going because I do still want 2 to 3 more players. That way, I know that we're always going to be able to run sessions, even if a couple people are missing. Um, Definitely want some more, but yeah, and as I put out there in the Discord, as an incentive to the potential next player, they get to play a Minotaur, and I'm not saying that they have to. I'm just saying that like I really want to have a Minotaur in the group, and
You've got
we
one all rolled up for them, ready to go, and if they want it, they can have it.
not even all rolled up and ready to go because I do have a shit ton of characters ready to be picked up, just like when y'all started. But just like with Chris's Arcticus, like that's a total new character. I didn't have anything for that.
Yeah, I was looking up the Shisk, is it?
Shisk, yes.
Yeah, I was looking up the Shisk race. Fascinating sort of thing that they've created in the Pathfinder universe. So cool.
Yeah, and then like almost none of their backstory works for Galil naturally because there is no Mwangi expanse here or anything like that. But
Yeah.
just able to drag and drop and fucking click everything together, and I really
Malongi are
enjoyed it.
now ice giants.
Yeah, it's and it's really cool because half patches came in and then left, but kind of introduced y'all to the fact that there is an ice side, and
Yeah.
I thought like, okay, well now we're just completely done with ice side, and that's probably not gonna come up in this campaign ever again. And then all of a sudden, boom, we got someone else
Hi,
from the
Chris.
ice side, from the total opposite side of the ice side, and who has a very, very different outlook on the politics and the tensions on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically the
'Cause
most recent war, aside from the world spanning humans and elves war, was the frost giants and the goblins on the ice side.
mm,
And yeah, I don't think that the Shisk would have necessarily been like an active part of the conflicts, but they would
outside
have
of make
definitively
sure that
been
this is
on the
all
giants'
documented. Yeah.
side,
They would
and
have been
probably
all
like
just
engaged
like
in some logistical activities and shit.
logistical and making sure that it's taken down for history.
Yeah,
Historical purposes, if nothing else.
and then one of the things I think I probably gave too much or too specific of information. Um, when Kyla said that Shith F-Core is 330,000 years old, like, there's no way that she would have actually had 330,000 as the number in her head. Like, just hundreds of thousands of years old, or, older than most of the races. But it's all good. And yeah, I had a long conversation with Kevin last night about, because I understand what he's doing with Fairheart and things like that, but I also like kind of illustrated how disruptive it is to the party, and not like blaming him or anything like that. Just like we need to resolve some of these things, and I
Yeah.
think we did a good job. We covered a lot of bases and figured some things out, but also like I don't think he realized, um, like when he said, "I'm gonna walk west for 6 minutes," like he didn't realize how much that was splitting the party. And I'm like, no, you have to understand, if you're walking west for 6 minutes and the party is walking east for 6 minutes, then by the time you stop, you are at least 10 to 12 minutes away from them. And when you consider the fact, and he was like, oh yeah, and they're probably moving faster than me too. I was like, significantly, because none of them are armored.
Yep.
He was like, oh yeah. Like, yeah, that is splitting the party, and that's a big no-no. Like, if there is one single hard and fast rule of D&D, it's you do not split the fucking
Just
party.
split the party. Yep.
And like, honestly, I kind of told him about the treasure room that Kyla had kept alluding to, and it's like, I really really wanted y'all to find that because there's some cool shit in there for everybody and for the group as a whole, and like for people individually and for the group as a whole, and the stuff that I wanted y'all to have. That's why I put it there. That's why I dropped hints about going there, and now I don't know if y'all can actually get back to it because
Yeah, we're however many levels down and however many paces west.
yeah, and I mean, like, I know that obviously there would be connections, but I mean, like, I don't. There is such a dearth of difference from where you are to where, like, there's floors and floors and floors in between that I have not even begun to design. So,
Yeah.
but it's cool. Like, the storyline is progressing, and that's the important thing. And I'll figure out either I'll get y'all back to that room or I'll figure out another way to get y'all the stuff that was in it. Like, it's not a big deal. Just like the map that we currently have, I did not make that on the fly. I just figured out how to get y'all from where you were to where you went, and then figure out how to get you to a map that I had made. So, like, that's all part of my job. Not complaining
Yeah.
here. That's the fun. That's the fun
Yeah.
for me. It's like, all right, who's gonna do the next super crazy shit, and how do I make it work?
Reminds me of the whole like, there is a gazebo. I shoot the gazebo. It's a fucking gazebo. Sort of thing. What?
And that
The
is
sort of thing that
exactly why the wedding occurred on a gazebo. And, like, it was literally, it was a shout out to that moment in the history of D&D.
that meme.
Like, that kind of meme. And
If we shot it, would it have been a mimic?
no.
Oh. That would have been hilarious.
I sorry, I got sidetracked.
Okay.
Chris, this is not really the arena for that, but you can think about it. We can talk about it in Discord. You wouldn't really have a way to check, though, because we have already moved on from there. So, definitely hit me up in Discord. We can talk about that. Might. Maybe. But yeah, I'm very excited to have y'all exploring the depths of the caverns, and I'm excited for y'all to start actually finding some clues, because I know that right now it feels like
We're going around trying to find hints of something, and we're like just running into like, oh, there's nothing here. Well, fuck.
Yeah, I feel like I really hope that y'all don't feel like I've got you on a wild goose chase, because that's how I feel. Like there's just there hasn't been a whole lot of actual actionable information given out because I'm trying to set the stage, and that stage is pretty void of information. So
Yeah.
I think this session should have some good reveals and have some good clues to really help y'all start moving forward. But yeah, like the things that are going on behind the scenes are it's a tough one to put a new player or new party to in a situation to figure it out. It'd be easier if I could just send y'all directly against the BBEG, but that's not my style. And
Very
also,
true.
you guys are like, I'm not gonna just throw shit at y'all that's gonna fucking mop the floors with you, kill you, and whatnot. Like, I definitely want to continue to make things challenging and yet fun. And it's not super fun to just get your ass absolutely destroyed.
No. Very true.
Well, maybe for some bottoms it is, but
But a dish. Although I know that Brother Bonk wouldn't mind, like, just being able to live up to his name.
yeah. So okay, that is another thing because I know we haven't had any combat in a couple of sessions. It's something that Chris mentioned. You're also kind of yearning to kick some ass. Good.
Yeah.
I cannot promise that there will be combat in this session, but I can promise that there will be combat soon. It also really depends on reactions and how things are handled. There's definitely going to be potential for combat in this session.
I'm gonna have to knock out Fair Hard, aren't I?
Honestly, from some of the conversation that we had last night, it might not be a terrible idea. Next time he does something stupid, you just fucking bonk and fuck, like, because obviously when Grumblar wrapped him up in the fucking cocoon, he did not learn his lesson from that. Maybe it has to be somebody that he actually likes and respects.
True.
To just like knock his ass out, and there you go. I think that could be helpful. But yeah, don't do it just like randomly out of nowhere. There's like first thing in the session, just boom.
Sticky, oh shit! No, he needs to do something to really deserve it for Bonk to turn, or Brother Bonk to turn around and do that to him.
But also, you would kind of have a reason to now that you have light bulbs.
Someone's actually home. Yes. True. I'd actually be able to catch on to some of the cues going, what he's doing is actually fucked.
Yeah. But again, we had a really good conversation, and it lasted far too long.
As many conversations with Kevin tend to do so.
Yeah, it was like 3:00, and he's like, do you have, ending up the stream, I'm like, I gotta head to bed. He's like, do you have 2 minutes to talk about Fairheart? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let me go piss. I go to the bathroom.
2 hours later.
Dude, I gotta be up. I got an interview in 8 hours. Let me go. Good shit.
Steven loves it. Steven loves those sorts of conversations with Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. And how is he feeling about the game? Because I know he's kind of the one.
Because he's twitchy, so he gets bored very easily. So you need to keep him going, like, mentally. So he has a hard time. So more often than not, he's doing like photography stuff in the background or AI generated art stuff in the background, that sort of thing, to stop him from just going and, I don't know, vacuuming the house and missing a whole heap of it because he got bored.
Gotcha.
Because he's just that kind of dude. On the regular, he has like a YouTube video up, a podcast going, and AI art and work all going at the same time just to keep his mind going. I don't know how he does it. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it drives me insane, but at least I know this about him.
Right? Yeah, and I mean, I'm not worried about him doing other things than the game. I'm just like, because he does seem, and some of it I'm sure is just role playing the character, but he does seem somewhat withdrawn from it a lot of times, and so I wasn't sure if it was just being distracted or if it was being disinterested.
No, distracted more than anything. But also, yes, he is a little bit in the character. I'm like, you need like an animal companion or something that's like the equivalent of a fucking golden retriever that you also need to play. So that you've got broody bitch, and then also like I don't know this sort of heart like a fucking I don't know winged cat or like I don't know a friendly snake or something that is basically the mental equivalent of a golden retriever that's like, hi, want to be friends? Yeah, I want a pat. I want to do this. I would love to see Stephen play something like that. That would be fucking hilarious with then his broody elf going, please stop. Oh god, please stop. Fuck. Man, she's going around after a stranger to get pets. I'll go fetch her.
That's actually hilarious because Kevin has, as I mentioned, been asking me and been actively searching for a dog in character in game. Maybe I will give that dog to Steven to play. It's not even Lurith's pet. It's Fairheart's pet.
No, it's Fairheart's pet.
or at least a party pet. But no,
Yeah,
that seems like it could work because that's one of the
because
things that I've always kind of been a little bit hesitant about the animal companions and whatnot with, and also part of the reason I'm glad that Chris has such a familiar focus character is because it's a very fine line of when you're allowing someone too much power just by action economy and like one of my favorite characters that I ever played. I'm not going to tell you too much about him because he definitely is going to end up showing up in Galil, probably as part of this campaign, but probably farther on down the road. Um, but he has had the leadership feat at a very early level, and so I had a cohort way before you're supposed to, and so I'm playing two full players, and it's just like I can do so much shit with these, and then like the familiars, the animal companions, like there's so much tactical complexity, which is great, but then there's also so much power push from just that ability, like to have an additional turn. And even like with something like familiar, it's not as bad because you have to take one of your actions to give them two actions, so you still get a little additional action economy, but it takes away your turn. But like with the leadership feature, like I had two full characters and two full turns every round, and it's just like wow, that's a lot.
but also like the I think that would also help with Stephen playing two separate characters that are very drastically different from each other would help
Yeah,
him stay
absolutely help
engaged.
with engagement.
Yeah,
And also because I think Lurith is very much the odd man out from the group too. Like she
yeah,
does not have any actual attachment to anybody here. Like, she
no,
just followed along because oh this seems interesting, and now that we're in caves, it's a whole lot less interesting. Like
yeah,
she doesn't have the best reason to even stick around, and also she could get out of there very fucking easily if she ever just decided, you know what, I'm done with these guys. Like
yeah.
she's just gone.
Turtles, I'm out.
So I appreciate the difficulty that he's got with that character as well. Like I'm not trying to come down on him or say he's doing anything wrong or anything either. I'm just making sure that my players are happy.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that would be an excellent idea for them, especially like a pet that Kevin like can't control per se.
Yeah.
It's like it's my pet, but it's played by Steven. It's like that's hilarious.
Yeah, I love it,
That
and
would
I'm
be
so glad because I
hilarious.
never would have had that idea just on my own. Like when you brought it up, I was like, oh, I think this solves multiple problems here, and yeah, that's great. So I have, I think, three maps that I need to get uploaded and set up in Foundry. I need to make two or three more maps, got a call coming up in 2 hours. Man, it's gonna be a fucking busy day today.
Should I let you go?
No, I think I'm good. I do actually. I'm gonna let you expound on whatever topic that you would like to. I do need to go to the bathroom real quick because I've already drank a pot of coffee. Be right back.
Yep. Oh, that's going to be brilliant. Because Steven's not an outgoing person much. And so playing an outgoing sort of character, that'll be so good. That'll be awesome. But yes. Hello, Jim Morgan. Hello, Chris. I can only see the YouTube one, so if you're watching via Twitch, I can't see what you're chatting. Well, I should probably open up Twitch. I don't think I've got Rick on the Mountain. Mountain. Search. Rick on the Mountain, 5 viewers. Five viewers, and one is Chris. Woohoo! You've been mainly talking on Twitch, yeah.
Much better.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I was just opening up the Twitch version of the stream so that I could see the Twitch chat as well.
Yeah, that's
'Cause I don't have
definitely
the
where
YouTube one
most of the
open.
activity is.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to Stephen playing an outgoing golden retriever-like character. Be so good. Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a wonderful change of pace.
But as far as like other subjects to talk about, one thing that I want to ask you, I put it up on my Facebook. What are some things that in 23 that you can honestly say that you've done that like you're proud of that you've done in 2023 now that the year's closed?
Well, finally getting this campaign launched is definitely one of them.
Nice.
I've been working on this for a long time. So actually having some players and running through things like that, it's definitely feels really good. I believe that I hit 1,000 followers on Twitch in 2020.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pretty happy about that. Honestly, there's not a lot about 2023 that I'm happy with, though. Like,
yeah, may 2024 be a very boring and precedented year for you.
Actually, I am hoping for unprecedented because there's definitely never been a year of sobriety in my life.
Fair enough.
So, like, I'm hoping for some significant changes. Because that's one of the things, like, and I definitely I need to find my way out of restaurants permanently. Like,
Yeah.
that has to happen this year. I'm just done. I can't fucking do it anymore.
Fair enough.
What about you? What were your favorite parts of last year?
I finally got a fucking hysterectomy.
There you go.
So good.
So you're no
Had
longer
so much-
hysterical?
Absolutely. I'm always hysterical, whether or not I have my uterus. But, oh god, I was having so much hell. Because apparently I'm super sensitive to anything with hormones. Like, I can't even have soy milk. because of the hormones in soy milk. I have like a soy. I used to like having a soy chai latte until I realized that I have it in the morning, and then by that afternoon, I'm a mopey fucking crying mess.
Oh wow. Just
And it was
from
like,
one cup. Okay.
yeah,
That sounds pretty extreme.
yeah, it was nuts. So it was good to be able to get the that because I had like all sorts of like weird things happening at the same time because of other things that affect hormones. Like couldn't have hibiscus tea because hibiscus affects the hormones. Like for most women, doesn't affect them much. Me, it was like, oh, you had hibiscus tea. You want a period? There you go. Have a period. It's like,
You had some hibiscus tea.
motherfucker.
You want a period? Here you go. Have an exclamation point.
Uh,
I actually have hibiscus growing right there, and I've got another one right out front. My mailbox grows out, is like set in a hibiscus plant. Like we got a bunch of them. And I love hibiscus tea, so yeah, I can't imagine having that kind of reaction to it.
yeah. All sorts of things I was having. So I'm glad that it's finally gone, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And the whole like, I never wanted. I didn't like kids when even when I was one. So
Right?
the whole like, I don't even have to worry about that anymore. And it's like, yes, freedom.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely feel you on that one. So if you can't do soy milk anymore, are you almond milk, cashew milk, oat milk, or real milk?
I mainly did the soy milk when there was a lot of places that didn't do lactose free yet. So instead of going, oh, fine, I'll take full lactose milk, I'd go, all right, I'll have soy milk instead. But now these days, lactose free milk in cafes is pretty much a set standard.
Okay.
I have not come across one that doesn't have lactose free milk in a long time.
Gotcha.
So
So
thankfully, it
you're a
hasn't.
regular milk, but lactose intolerant. So you got to get the okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
I have
yeah.
no experience with that whatsoever. But one of my coworkers, actually a couple of my coworkers, are very lactose intolerant, and one of them was given Lactaid for the Secret Santa, and has been just fucking swearing by it, like living his best life now. Like that night, he got a fucking a burger with blue cheese on it, and like he was walking around for like an hour talking to all the customers and shit about how excited he was to be having a burger with blue cheese on it. And
Oh,
and then a couple days later, he's like, "Yeah, last night I ate 3/4 of a pizza, and I mean that Lactaid is fucking amazing, man." Like, so it
I've,
might be worth trying for you if that's a
yeah,
problem.
I've got Lactaid.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's called Lactese here, but yeah, I've got it, but I don't really need it for cheese, yogurt, or sour cream. Because usually the bacteria in them has eaten most of the lactose in those products, so they don't really affect me as much. It's usually anything that's like full cream milk, straight cream, custard, anything with buttermilk powder. Fuck, buttermilk powder has so much lactose in it, my God. Um, so yeah, anything like those, yeah, I'll need to take the lactase.
yeah, makes sense. Although never would have even thought about that. And wait, buttermilk powder.
Yeah. So it's used in like a lot of baking. So a lot of burger buns and a lot of crumbing on like chicken and stuff. Like KFC has buttermilk powder in their crumbing on their chicken.
Okay,
Um,
things I did
there's
not
like
know.
yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff that uses buttermilk powder.
And I've never even fucking
Uh,
heard of it.
pre-made pancake mixes is another one. There's like only one brand that doesn't have it that I can buy on the shelf.
Gotcha. That's yeah. I've always been a cook, not a baker, so I guess it doesn't really surprise me that I didn't know about this. But yeah, like that. I know what buttermilk is, and I know what powder is, but I'd never heard of buttermilk powder.
Yeah, yeah, it's used in a
Makes sense
lot of
though. I
baking
mean,
stuff.
basically just dehydrated milk, but dehydrated buttermilk instead.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. The other thing I did is that I'm sure you've heard the Chronicles of Sylvie. So I finally cut someone toxic out of my life is the other thing that I'm proud of for 2023 is because my friends and whatnot have all been going, why are you still friends with this person? And I'm like, but she's been my friend for years. Finally cut her out because she just went off the deep end, something chronic.
Well, congratulations. That's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
Not an
yeah.
easy one to make, oftentimes.
No. And I completed Baldur's Gate
How many times?
with Steven. Only the once. I've only completed it the once I've started. I've started and restarted and restarted and restarted it like a good dozen or so times, but I've only completed it once. So that's the other thing that I think I'm a tiny bit proud of in a weird way.
No, that's perfectly normal way or normal reason to be proud. Like it's still completing something,
Yeah.
and something that's while it's enjoyable, it's not necessarily easy.
No. Yeah.
Like it requires some doing to beat a game,
Yeah.
especially like a massive one like BG3.
Oh, it's huge. It is so big. But how much? Steam. Baldur's Gate 3. I have sunk 428 hours into that sucker.
Yeah, yeah, that's some time. My daughter started playing. So we talk every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Last week she had started playing BG3, and like since our last conversation, and she already had 50 hours into it. Like within a week, like you just put in a whole week's work on a video game,
Yep.
like full time and then some.
Yep.
No judgment. Been there,
No.
done that.
Yep.
Fully understandable, especially because like it was winter vacation, no school, shit like that. Like yeah, no, you've got the time. Go ahead, have fun.
Go ahead. May as well. I knew that it'd be like for lack of a better term, a problem. When like I've had a game on my Steam that I've never uninstalled. I've always loved it. I've had it for like since it originally came out and was like put on Reddit going, hey, we've released this new game. Can people please try it? We're really proud of it, sort of thing. It's called Timberborn. It's like a city builder, but with beavers. Not sure if you've ever heard of it.
I have not, but it sounds great.
It's awesome. I've never gotten bored of it. When I realized that within less than a month I had sunk more hours into Baldur's Gate than I had in Timberborn in the year and a bit that I'd owned it and loved it, I knew that there was like, ooh, yeah, okay. There's something about this game. Eh.
Yeah,
And I
the last one that was really like that for me was Diablo 3. But I was like I'd get home from work and play for 6, 8, 10, 15 hours every night. And like especially when the seasons came out and everything like that, and oh my god, it's just such a great game. I love that fucking game. It will not potato. I couldn't play it on this, which is terribly unfortunate because I would love to. Wow. World of Warcraft back in the day. I quit right before Cataclysm came out.
I must admit, that is one game that I never took up, and I'm sort of glad, considering our previous discussion in regards to being getting hooked on things.
Yeah, yeah. It that one had me in its grips for a long time,
Yeah,
and it was not good. It was like taking over my life.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's that. I have no desire to go back to it. I still wish I could actually sell my accounts. Because I had a few accounts, and I mean, they'd probably be worth next to nothing now. But like back when I quit, they were actually pretty impressive accounts. Some really good characters, lots of achievement. I'm an achievement whore. Like
yeah,
I was never one of the ones that was pushing the hardest and most difficult, newest, most cutting edge end game content. That wasn't me.
no,
I was the one who would get up there and get well geared and everything like that, and then go back to the beginning areas and help people out and kill allies and collect every single achievement from the beginning
yeah.
areas, and then every single achievement from the next area, and then every single achievement from the ones after that. There was one where it was actually called Doing the Impossible, and it involved like getting to exalted reputation level with like 7 different factions, and they're all enemies of each other. So every time you gain reputation with one, you're losing it from someone else, if not 3 or 4 others.
Oh my
I actually
goodness.
got that one. It's insane.
Far out.
But yeah, that was my fun with that game, was just helping other people out, being social, and that's like I joined a guild, and this is kind of a gameplay loop that happens with me in most games. Like I join a guild, and then after not very long, I end up becoming an officer, and then usually within a relatively decent amount of time after that, the leader will leave for whatever reason, and then I will inherit the guild. Oh, hi, Mia. Um, uh,
No,
I will inherit the guild,
in your basket.
or
Like,
or I'll just start a guild. That's also happened before. But the guilds that I start never do very well. But when I take over a guild, then as part of being going back and doing all of that early shit, I end up growing it very quickly because I'll go help out newbies that don't have a guild. And by the way, if you want more help, join my guild and I'll be able to help you all the time. Grew some huge fucking guilds that way, and the one on WoW was no exception to that. But
yeah, I experienced similar, but on a free MMORPG that was big-ish called Shire. Not sure if you ever heard of it.
Shire, as in the Shire, was it
No,
Tolkien based?
SHAIYA.
Oh, Shaiya. No, it does not ring a bell.
But it was very based on WoW, but it was a free MMORPG because I was uh, completely broken, could not afford to buy WoW.
Gotcha.
So I got into Shire, but it was free knockoff, so it was very easy to quit it because it was a free knockoff. But yeah, still got that same sort of thing with the guilds of like joining a guild and then going, oh, you're actually investing time in this game. Wow. Okay. Can you do this? Can you do that? Be this important person or that important person for the guild? Never got to be the leader though. I never got that far. But yeah, the very quickly becoming an officer, yeah, got that one
Yeah.
many times.
Did you ever play any of these Guns of Glory, Age of Empires, Rise of
Age of
Kingdoms?
Empires, Rise of Kingdoms, no. Guns of Glory, no. But Age of Empires, yeah, that was a big one for me.
Yeah, they're all the exact same game, just different skins. Um,
Yeah,
the one that I really got big into was Guns of Glory, which is actually an exact reskin of Age of Empires. Which I had a good buddy of mine way back in the day who was huge into Age of Empires, but that was one. It was like I created a guild, then we joined up with another guild, so I'm an officer in this guild, and I'm the leader of this guild, which is a feeder guild. So like we're getting all of the new recruits, we're building them up to a point where they can actually contribute to this guild, and then shipping them off to that. And then I had a fallout with the leader, so I went and joined this other guild. Yeah, oh my god, I hate those fucking games though. Like,
Yeah, on Age of Empires, I was always so I never multiplayer. I never went into multiplayer
oh
because
no,
I was
I
always
had 5 accounts on Guns of Glory, and this was I was married at the time, and her ex-husband was also living with us, and so between and as was his new wife, and her 2 daughters from her previous relationship. Yeah, that was a clusterfuck of epic proportions, but man, but between the three of us, we had like 12 accounts, and we were pretty fucking powerhouse. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it was a lot. It was a lot.
No, with Age of Empires, never went into multiplayer. I only ever did single player because I was always the casual player that liked to absolutely own my space, as opposed to like, I'm not going to take over them yet.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was like my guild leader. He was bragging about dropping 4 grand a week,
Oh, Jesus.
like competitive top tier guilds on the server is what I was part of. Like, and I mean, I never got anywhere near that amount of expenditure, but I definitely spent way too much money on that fucking game.
Yeah.
Like at the very minimum, every single one of our accounts always had the $20 package that got you the gear that made all of your buildings faster and cheaper. Like at
Yeah.
bare minimum, every single account had that because
Yeah.
you're not getting up to castle level 10 without having that. It's just
No.
it's not feasible. So
No.
yeah, 12 accounts times $20 minimum. It's not nothing. And
Yeah,
then
$240. Jesus.
our main accounts, we had the subscriptions and didn't buy everything, but bought a significant amount of the drops that were coming out and whatnot. And then I just realized that it just keeps going and keeps going, and now I just want to make one of those games and fucking sit back and collect the income.
The beginning of microtransactions.
Yeah.
Although the fucking term microtransaction is sort of like your cheapest thing begins at $15. That's not micro.
No, exactly. Like microtransactions, yeah, makes you think of like pennies. No, just micro as in you just keep doing them and you don't even realize it. Like that.
Yeah, I remember when microtransactions was like genuinely everything was under $2.
Yeah.
If you spent $5, it was like, oh, you got the big thing.
Yeah, you spend $5 and you are like you have everything the best of it for the entire game forever.
Yeah.
Now it's like you spend $5.
You like got that. It's like
a loading
that was
screen.
that was the okay version of microtransactions. I could deal with that when I was like, I'll get that and it cost me 50 cents. Cool.
Or
that
like,
was the only time that I was
Crush, like where you're just fucking buying lives and items that you can use and shit like that, and like
I never got into Candy Crush, but I like other games. But similar sort of thing where I'd get like a gem pack or something. I don't know, whatever. The fucking
excuse me, sorry.
Whatever the currency was, I'd just get like a little 50-cent gem pack, and hey, bingo! I managed to buy that thing or build that thing that I've been saving up for a while, but now I can finally fucking afford it along with the 50 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean I did get into Candy Crush for a little while. I got a couple hundred levels in, but then the game started not working correctly, and like there was a level that I actually had to use a bunch of items on, and then when beat it, because I was like probably 30, 40 attempts in, then it didn't give me credit for it, and then I still had to beat that level, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not doing this shit again. I just quit.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of the games go for me. Is like I'll play, I'll play. Something goes wrong, and then it's just like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I wish it
No,
was that easy to quit other things.
the matching games, like, yeah, I'll like them up to a certain point until it gets to a certain difficulty where it's like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I'm just retrying the same fucking banging my head against the wall thing. So no.
Yeah,
So quit and uninstall. And yeah, and it's like I kind of wish that they'd do like especially the storyline type ones where that like as you unlock things, you unlock the storyline of the game. If there was like a like casual mode, competitive mode sort of thing. It's like casual mode. All of the levels are relatively easy. You're here for the storyline. Enjoy, sort of thing.
yeah,
Or competitive mode. Now there's a competition, and your points go towards the global sort of thing, and you get listed on a fucking rank scale, which some people get off on. I don't know. I don't give a two fucks. But I wish that there was still that option in those sort of games where there is a storyline that it's like, I've invested already this amount of time and watched this story, and I'm actually enjoying the story that you guys are producing, but I can't go any further in the story without banging my head against this brick wall of match 3 on this level, so I'm not going to experience any more of this story, and that sucks.
yeah, yeah. That would be an interesting design space to produce in a kind of multifaceted game like that. I like that idea. Maybe I'll make something like that.
I would love it if you did. Just like one of those the my I think it's called like My Mansion and My Garden, and there's a whole fucking series of them all with different fucking storylines and plots and whatnot that open up as you complete levels.
Yeah, like
But
gardenscapes and shit like that.
yeah, yeah.
I have played a couple of them, and I'm really not a fan. Just of like,
Some of the storylines are pretty crappy,
yeah,
but some of the storylines are kind of neat.
yeah, and then I mean, the only merge game that's really held my attention for any length of time is Slime Legion, and it's because it's a combat game. Like there's merging to get your units, but then it's a combat thing. And I introduced Kevin to it, and he also seemed to enjoy it. But also like, it was just each of the matches just takes so fucking long, and between that and a bunch of other shit that I was playing, it's like there's just too much of my day being taken up by all these random ass fucking games, and so I just shortly before New Year's, I just deleted everything that wasn't paying me again. And so it's like now I'm back down to nothing. I got Atlas Earth, which is just, a passive income generator, and I got Bitcoin Miner, which is like an idle game, but every once in a while I actually get satoshis out of it. So it's like, okay, well, I'll keep fucking around with those, and let them take a back seat as well, and then just keep fucking working on the games that I'm actually enjoying that are also profitable. And it's a much better balance, but I'm still, games run my life, and that's another one of those things that's probably not serving me well. We'll see how much of a difference it makes without the other things in the way, but it might have to be the next thing that goes. I might just have to take a step back from gaming entirely, and I really don't want to, because fuck, life sucks without games.
Something for yourself. It's like when my mum, because my mum's skinny as a rake, so she looks at me and goes, "Oh, you need to lose weight. You're not healthy and whatnot." And it's like, one, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome and you don't, so shut the fuck up. Um, but the whole like, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. Leave me with my fucking chocolate one.
Right? Like, but I think there's a difference between somebody else telling you, particularly parentals, um, versus just knowing that where you are is not where you want to be, and
Yeah,
working towards decreasing that gap.
true,
Like,
true.
I think that's really where I'm at. It's because yeah, I've realized that just games in general do hold way too much sway over me, especially with nothing else to latch onto because I've given up all of the, you know, all of the various different forms of inebriation. Um, it's like something to latch onto. And I think it really comes down to like, for me, games are kind of like a sense of control. And like smoking has been a sense of consistency, which is otherwise lacking in my life. Like, I haven't even talked to a person every year for 10 years. Like throughout my life, aside from my mom, um, and even that, like, she's been gone now for 16 years, 17 years. Shit, more than that. No, she's been gone for almost 20 years. Because my 21st was my first birthday after she passed. I was 20 and some change. So yeah, like between all of the moving around as a kid, all the different schools and shit like that, like I feel like a distinct lack of consistency in my life, and I feel like that's a big part of the reason why it has been so difficult to quit smoking and whatnot is because that is like the most consistent thing. I've been fucking smoking for my entire life, so yeah, to not, it's almost like I'm afraid of being a non-smoker.
Swear. I think, like, this may sound like as if it's not unrelated, but I think you've got a lovely voice, so I think giving up smoking would only do it good.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I'm definitely looking forward to is actually regaining some lung function and being able to hold notes for longer and whatnot. I definitely have been noticing a difference um, over the past couple of years in terms of singing voice control, stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, music is definitely a major part of my life. I love to sing. Uh, I don't know if you've ever
To
been
hear
around for
you
any of my
sing.
karaoke streams, but
No, I haven't. I'll
we
need to
have
tune
some
into
fun.
one of those.
We have some fun. I've got a karaoke wheel that I used to actually have as like a prize thing. Like when I was doing all the giveaways all the time, um, my giveaway wheels were very complex and complicated, and like you'd have wheels that send you to wheels that send you to other wheels and whatnot. And one of them was the karaoke wheel, and it's just like 30 fucking songs on there, and I'd spin the wheel and just sing whatever comes up. And every time that I spun the wheel, I'd always add more songs to it, and then like once I'd done a song 2 or 3 times, then I'd take it off the wheel just to keep things new. And like one of them was also like the entire history of the battle between like Eminem and MGK. So like it would be, instead of one song, it would be The Ringer, and or no, it would be No Reason by Tech Nine, and then The Ringer, and then um, Kill Shot, or no, and then Rap Devil, and then Kill Shot. Like all four of them, just back to back to back to back. Unfortunately, like a lot of the songs that I really love to do like that, they don't actually have karaoke versions of. Like one I wish I could do would be Nail in the Coffin, but there is not a karaoke version of that. It's the greatest diss track of all time, in my opinion. And like there's lyric videos, but there's no karaoke version that doesn't have the lyrics. And I'm like, or that has the lyrics but without the vocals. And like, I wish I knew how to make karaoke tracks. That would be something that would be very fun.
And that can actually make you money.
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that whole copyright.
Hobby money. Yeah.
So.
Copyright stuff, and it'd be hobby money. It wouldn't be big bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
until you become like fucking karaoke king or whatnot, you've got thousands of fucking videos out and you're selling CDs. But I also used to DJ karaoke, and I DJ'd karaoke back before there was like karaoke on YouTube or the million song libraries. I actually had physical discs when I was running karaoke. So like I'd show up and I've got 15,000 fucking CDs. So when you're putting in a slip, you're writing your name, artist name, song name, and a code that you got out of the book, which tells me exactly what CD it's on and what track.
Yeah.
Man, those were some good times. I miss DJing so much. Like, it was just so much fun.
I do not miss CDs, though.
I kind of do. I still have a significant number of CDs and no way to use them. I also still have, like, tons of DVDs. Literally, our computers don't even have fucking CD-ROM drive. Like, I can't play a DVD. Don't have like a PlayStation or Xbox or anything to run them in either. Like, at least the music CDs, we can listen to them like in the car. Whenever we go on a road trip, like she's got some family that's across the state and whatnot. Every time we head out, then grab a few CDs to listen to in the car or whatever. But yeah, the DVDs, like, I don't have any use for them. And then I just got a shit ton more because when Chef moved in with our owner, he had to downsize because he went from a 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom house, and so like he just had to get rid of a lot of fucking shit, and just showed up to work a couple of days with literally a trunk full of DVDs and was just like, yeah, go on, check out my trunk, grab whatever the fuck you want. So I came home with a backpack full of DVDs a couple days in a row, like shit that I didn't have. And so yeah, the collection has grown significantly, and I still can't fucking watch any of it.
Although speaking of CDs, are you fond of Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
There is a Australian, like, when I say country artist, I mean like folk music country. Okay. Called Martin Pearson, but he's also like a comedian on the side. And he got like semi-famous here in Australia for making Lord of the Rings the musical. And I've got it on CD, and I'll have to like get it somehow so that I can send it to you via like Discord or whatever, email or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds quite interesting. I can't really imagine Frodo busting out into song. But it sounds like something I need to see. Yeah.
Well, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is Gollum's song, which is "I fell in love with the burning ring of fire."
Oh, wow. Wow.
And
down, and flames went higher.
And I burn, Gollum.
And it's
Um,
so precious. The ring of
it's so
fire.
precious. The
The
ring of
ring of
fire. The ring of
fire.
fire. Yep, pretty much.
Uh,
And then there's the Legolas and Gimli song, which is basically a version of anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything greater than you. That's fucking hilarious. I love it.
With Gimli and Legolas.
I'm up to 3. I'm at 44. That still only counts as 1.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can do, I can do more. Any bid you can grow, I can grow triple. Kneecap to nipple, I'm hairier than you. Oh, yes, you are. Yes, I am. Grow a beard, get a shave. Least I can. Least I can.
Yeah, that sounds fucking phenomenal. And now, is it like, did he make a like a visual version, or is it just
No,
okay?
just him on stage with the guitar. Yeah.
It's hilarious though. I love it.
All right. I think I'm gonna go have a shower, have some coffee, get something to eat, and who knows, I might conk out for an hour or two.
Alrighty. That sounds like a plan. You enjoy yourself, and I will see you again in a couple of hours. Thank you for joining me for Off the Cuff. Hope you had an enjoyable time, and thank you to the audience for tuning in as well. Always a pleasure. And we will see y'all on the other account at Dragon Memories TTV in about 4 hours and 48 minutes, give or take a few seconds. And meanwhile,
Cool.
always remember, keep kicking ass, because you are fucking awesome.
Be good or be good at it.